It's the Orioles on Masson, and it's spring training baseball from Sarasota, Florida, the spring training home of the Orioles. For one of just 2 times this spring, the Orioles take on the Yankees. Big house will be on hand on a gorgeous day here at the ballpark. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome for the Orioles. Obviously, taking on the Yankees, meaningful, even if it is a spring training game, as these two clubs again get ready to ratchet it up for another year. And the Yankees, all the expectations that they have, and the Orioles trying to judge just where are we in comparison to the team that right now is expected to win the American League East. Well, for one thing, the Orioles get somebody back today they need, their DH. Trumbo is back in the lineup. Mark back after having suffered since March 6th with a right quad problem. That is the last time he has played for the Orioles here in spring training. So both he and Chris Davis longing to get some at-bats and some time in. Jim Palmer today, Trumbo starts to get his back.
Yeah, spring training, obviously you want to come out of camp physically well. So you got Chris with the cortisone shot in the right arm. He's back, probably will play this weekend. Trumbo only has 20 at-bats, so it's not only getting him physically well, but when you come after 2 years ago leading the American League in baseball with 47 home runs, you want to get the head right. So it's important in the last 12, 14 days of this spring training that happens. And how do you do it? You go out, you get some quality at-bats, and the other thing for the Orioles, of course, and Miguel Castro is going to pitch for him. You want those two guys to get well, Davis and Trumbo, and then you got to find 4 and 5 number starters, and that's what today's about.
Does a beard as an analyst help you in the thought process as to what you're going to deliver in the course of a game?
Well, if actually somebody told me on the field that I'd probably look a little more profound, but I'm just kind of play it day to day, and hopefully that'll be the case over the course of the season. And as I've always said, Gary, It's really how they play, not what we say up here in the booth. So
honest to God.
Yeah, exactly. We try to enhance their lives. But
so with or without a beard, it really doesn't matter what we say up
No, what beard?
If they're not doing it on the field.
What beard?
Well,
yeah,
it's absolutely perfect. The Orioles did make one cut today. Jason Aquino was cut prior to the ball game today, so the Orioles are now down to 44 on the roster. Over 20 pitchers still remain. There are still some decisions to be made on this ball club.
Yeah, and I think yesterday, and Chris Tillman, first time he actually went on the road, the home team down in against the Twins, and he did not look good yesterday. So I'm sure that's going to maybe, we talked about trying to find the starters, going to maybe add a little bit to Dan Duquette and Buck Showalter trying to find that 4th or 5th starter.
All right, Orioles take the field, and the Yankees on hand. A lot of the Yankee starters expected to be in the regular season lineup are here, and so are a lot of youngsters for our day spring game. dedicated ambiance of Lido Key in Sarasota on Florida's Gulf Coast. Learn more at visitsarasota.com. And there are a lot visiting here, and it is a beautiful day. Temperature continues to be 10 degrees below the norm for this time of the year, both during the day and at night. 65. The wind is always seemingly blowing out, this time more towards center field. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. For the Yankees, it'll be Wade, Judge, and Bird, Drury, McKinney, and Romine, Torres, Kratz, and Robinson. Aaron Judge, last year against the Orioles, had a complete season in the games, most of that coming against the Orioles at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, he can flat out play. And of course, you know, for Miguel Castro, well, 3 pitches, a fastball, curveball, slider. You know, he gets to face some lefties. That's certainly, you want to answer those questions. Buck Showalter always says you can just look at pitchers. Are they afraid to throw the ball over? Miguel, not one of them. And again, audition, we talked about the fact they need starting pitching. You know, they went out and got Cashner. He's going to be a big addition, not only on the mound, but his veteran presence. You know, Castro and Chance today was going to pitch for the Yankees. They're only 23. But Miguel having a chance to pitch in the big leagues last year. And again, starting's a little different. They load the lineups with lefties, and we're going to see a few of those today. And he certainly has the stuff and the command to be able to do that. But can you hold runners? Do you field your position? Can you get through the lineup 2-3 times? He did it on occasion last year, but it was usually out of the bullpen.
Tyler Wade will lead it off. Speaking of the left-handers in the lineup, and by the way, left-handers hit Castro at a 272 clip last year. Now right-handers only a $193, so a distinct difference. First pitch will be in there for a strike. Javaro January is working behind the plate. Jeff Kellogg, Paul Emmel, both crew chiefs for different crews, working today at first and second. And Brian Welke's got at third base. So that one hitting on the leg.
Yep. You know, he missed probably by 2 feet. You know, again, we talk about, and of course, Tyler Wade trying to make this ball club. This isn't going to help. Look how far inside that ball is. You know, you think it might have been a breaking ball, but it's a fastball somewhere in the right calf.
Fortunately, they missed the knee.
Yeah. Still going to hurt.
So Wade, who's starting at second base, will limp literally down to first base. Jerry Kellogg down there asking for an extra moment here for Wade to be able to try and
I mean, just think if you're Tyler Wade, Gary. I mean, you know, you see it. You know the Castro's got a live arm, good movement, good velocity, along with the other 2 pitches. You're trying to cover the outside corner, and you take one in the right calf.
That'll bring up Aaron Judge. Talk about lineups being juggled. We're going to see a couple of number 2 hitters in this ball game who could very easily bat at other positions and in previous years probably would have. Judge is not exactly a prototypical number 2 hitter, but he certainly, as we showed you, pounded it out against the Orioles last season, and now of course he and Stanton and Sanchez forming a tremendous lineup potentially for the Yankees. And that's of course what it is. Before you start, it's about the potential of it all. How it plays out remains to be seen. Orioles shift the infield a little bit, playing him to pull as they put Scope back over. You see around almost directly behind second base. There is nobody in the infield on the right field side.
Well, he had 11 home runs against the Orioles. He had 3 months on his way to 52 home runs where he hit 10 or more, 15 in the month of September.
Amazing year for him. He will foul that one away. So Judge, one of the regulars in the lineup today. Greg Bird is in. Brandon Drury is in for the Yankees. Wade, as Jim said, fighting for the spot at second base. So those are the predicted Yankee starters. And there is first-year manager Aaron Boone. Talking with Aaron today, first year, I said, what's the biggest problem for you as a new manager? And he said it's all about time. He said time management is so difficult. I want to see everybody. I want to see the starters. I want to see the pen. I want to watch batting practice. But I've got to do stuff for the press. I've got meetings going on, telephone and otherwise, with the upstairs offices. He says managing time, says I love it and it's fun. But he says every day it's difficult to get everything in you want to do as a manager. Delivery will be taken inside by Judge. And the 7th pitch at bat coming from Castro. The battle goes on, and with Chris Tillman's lack of performance in the first start in a regular spring training game, The door is really open now as to what they're going to do with the starting rotation. Runner takes off. The ground ball will go to short. Manny Machado quick one. They got it over to first. Turn the double play. Good quick flip by Machado to Scope to get the runner way to his off and running.
Well, we are talking to our colleague Mike Bordick, and he comes and gets the ball quickly. Of course, it hits very hard. The five hardest balls hit in major leagues last year. As you look at the Oriole defense here in Sarasota, Santander, Jones, Rasmus, then Beckham, Machado going to play shortstop this year. Scope, Mancini, and then Caleb Joseph, who's been red hot behind the plate, hitting over 400.
Orioles go into the shift as another left-hander. Greg Bird stands in, starting at first base. Bird, 25 years old now, and just hoping that he is away from the injury bug and can get in a complete season with a major league team. It has been very tough. Only 48 games at the major league level last year, 46 the year before that, and he's been the projected first baseman now for more than 2 years.
Well, he had the ball off his shin last year, and then all kinds of ankle and foot problems. Hit over 450 in spring training last year, and then they just threw the ball by him. I don't think you can do that anymore.
If he's healthy, that's what the Yankees are hoping, and he can add to the already potent lineup.
Yeah, I don't know of any hitter that's told me how, said, well, it doesn't really matter how my legs feel or how my hips feel or my ankle or my feet. I mean, that's the foundation of the way you hit.
Miguel Castro's delivery will be taken outside. We're going to be talking with Buck Showalter early on here in this ball game and talk with him about some of the points of emphasis that he does every spring. And one of them Castro's having trouble with right now. He has urged the pitchers to think about 4 pitch outs.
Yeah, Ray Sarich says, can you get him? He's done a great job in Pittsburgh. Can you get him out in 3 pitches? But to be honest, I think one of the reasons I kind of use in my scouting report he's fearless is because to be able to do that, you can't be afraid to throw the ball over the plate. Chris Tillman, everybody I talked to, that was not Chris Tillman because he would not challenge the hitters yesterday.
And that ball put up in the air, high in the air to straightaway center field. High sky, very few clouds, and Adam Jones is there to put it away. Orioles, we'll take a look at their lineup. Yankees retired only 3 up. Look at the lineup for the Orioles. Mancini, Scope, and Machado. Jones, Rasmus, and Trumbo. Beckham, Santander, and Caleb Joseph. Last season against New York, Adam continued to tear against the Yankees with a big .310 average, 7 RBIs.
Well, it'll be kind of interesting. Chance Adams, I mean, he just rushed his way, AA, AAA, 15-5, 2.45 ERA, 31-7 in the minor leagues. So he's a winner, good command. He's got 4 pitches, fastball, slider, better. And again, Aaron Boone talking to him on the field says, we're going to wait to see whether he's going to be in the bullpen which is what he did in college, or he's going to be a starter. But 31-7 coming up through the minor leagues as a starting pitcher.
Yeah, Aaron really excited about him. This is one of the pitchers who gives the Yankees great depth. As everybody knows in baseball, that becomes vitally important during the year. Trey Mancini's in the leadoff spot, getting the start at first base for the Orioles today. Trey has had outstanding spring, putting up some good numbers, playing a lot of first base with Chris Davis still out. Put up in the air to right center field. Wind blowing out towards center and even a little bit to right today. Robinson comes over to put it away.
Yeah, take a look at the Yankee defense, and McKinney, former #1 draft choice from the Oakland A's. Robinson in center, Judge, terrific right fielder, along with the 52 home runs. Drury comes over from the Diamondbacks. Torreyes, boy, he hurt the Orioles last year. Wade, Bird, Austin Romine doing the catching.
One down, nobody on. Here's Jonathan Scope. Like Showalter saying today about Mancini in the leadoff spot, is there any particular reason? Said no. Said I'm just following through on what I've talked about this spring, and that's, do I want the people I consider my 3 best hitters to be in the top 3 spots in the lineup? And if so, Mancini's probably one of those, so I'd like to get a look at him in the top spot, but that's all there is to it. And then you've got Jonathan Scope and Manny Machado, the top 3 today.
And they are, of course, Scope comes in at 379 with 3 home runs. Machado 452 with 3 home runs. And you can project them out because of their track record over the course of the year. Mancini, second year, so the league will make adjustments, but he did that last year.
Scope drives that one towards center field, not deep. Robinson charging. It'll fall in for a base hit, and Jonathan's on with a single. Talked about these two teams last year. There were some interesting games, to say the least. The Orioles struggled mightily at Yankee Stadium, and yet the Yankees won the series only 7-12. But you see the numbers. The Yankees bats 46 home runs compared to 24, and the runs over 8 per game for the Yankees.
Well, the ERA by the Orioles in Yankee Stadium, 9.81. And again, they didn't get the hit in the 9th inning, so they can tell you what kind of number they did against the Orioles in Yankee Stadium. And I go back, and Gary, you and I did the game. Orioles had a 9-1 lead on April 28th. Gregorius came back that day from the shoulder problems he got in the World Baseball Classic. They came back from 9-1, 11-8, won 14-11, and then dominated the Orioles. And that was a Friday night. The Orioles did win on Sunday, but they dominated them the rest of the year in Yankee Stadium.
Some very long games at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees were 8-2 against the Orioles in New York. The Orioles took the series at home 5-4. Manny Machado. Manny, of course, at short. He rejuvenated. But Showalter talking again about it today. He just thinks that moving Manny over to the shortstop spot where he has always wanted to play has resulted in a ball player who's come in very excited about the season. Not that he hasn't been in the past, but this one with a little added oomph. And as Jim said, it certainly is showing up on the field. 3 home runs, 15 RBIs, 4 doubles. That big 452 batting average. You couldn't have a much better spring. Beckham, of course, making the move over to third from short to let Manny's move take place.
Well, this is obviously, if you don't know the Manny Machado story, the potential free agent, we know he can play. It's funny, you talk to writers, they go, well, I don't know about the attitude. Well, there's no problem with the attitude this spring.
No.
Went on the road trip yesterday. He said, I'm here to work. I said, I'm looking for you. That ball's going to get by. I'm a little slider in the dirt, so Scope will go down the second. But, Manny's on a mission. And it's going to help the Orioles because they're going to play better if he plays well. You can see right here, Romine trying to backhand it. Ball bounces out on the home plate.
So the Orioles get a runner in scoring position with 1 down, 3-1 strike count on Manny Machado, with Adam Jones waiting on deck and an RBI chance for the Orioles shortstop. A look back by Adams, ground ball to short behind the runner. Played by Torreyes over to first base where Bird is. Scope will move over to third base, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, you get an idea. I always kind of looked at, if I wasn't pitching, I'd look on the bench and I'd go, okay, fastball count. Nose is probably coming, and he still got jammed a little bit. So maybe Chance Adams, who's not a big guy, he's only about 6 feet tall, might have some deception. Because that's only 91, but late movement, made a good pitch inside, quartered the plate, couldn't get to it.
Well, he certainly has had something going in his minor league career, as the numbers Jim pointed out, and why the Yankees are so high on him at just 23 years old, to be a real availability for them. Try on the bunt would have been a safety squeeze, bunting for a base hit. Adam Jones had the third baseman Drury way back, but he couldn't get the bat on the ball. Adam was spending a lot of time on that today in batting practice.
Yeah, if you're going to bunt, you want to do it 0-0, and again, that's just like a high slider that backs up a little bit. Drury will come in maybe a step, but again, you know, we've seen Adam do it. Smart play, at least early on in the count.
Runner off third base, breaking ball. Romine will stop it down low for Adam. He is hitting .320 on the spring. He has picked up a couple of doubles in the extra base hit department, 5 RBIs. He's been getting on base comfortable here in spring training, and of course will roam out there in center field most of the year for the Orioles. Scope getting off third base, 1 ball, 1 strike count. Adams got it in. That ball drilled in the air, left center field. Wind blowing back that way at the wall. Hey, goodbye, home run. Adam Jones, 400 plus to the batting eye in center field. The Orioles 2-0.
Well, 6,105 home runs, all-time high, hit last year, and one of the reasons, I mean, here, as you mentioned, Gary, wind blowing out, you get a ball up into the wind, even though that ball was crushed. But a nice swing. That fastball, he got Machado out on the inside half, but not Jones.
First home run of the spring for Adam.
And again, just enough to get his arms extended, and then just a matter of how far it's going to go.
So Adam gets the big 2-out hit. He has been in his career the best of the Orioles in picking up hits with runners in scoring position and 2 down, and he does it again there. Here's Colby Rasmus. He goes after the first pitch, drives it to the gap in left center field. That's going to be off the wall. It'll take a hop, and Rasmus will go into second base. Starting in right field today, the left-hander goes after the first pitch he sees. It ends up with a 2-bagger.
Well, Chance Adams is going to learn at the big leagues, especially good fastball hitters, whether it's Adam Jones or Colby Rasmus. It's all right to throw a first pitch fastball, but belt high out over the plate, that just doesn't play too well anymore.
Colby Rasmus making a statement since the Orioles got him, hitting .278, a home run, 4 RBIs, his first double of the year. He, of course, vying for an outfield spot, and a question for the Orioles right now is regarding the utility player. Will they carry an extra outfielder and not a utility player on the infield? Because nobody's really in that latter spot, an infield utility player. Nobody is right now taking that job. And here is Mark Trumbo. Mark has taken batting practice full out. The right quad problem has kept him out of game action since the 6th of the month. So obviously, as Jim noted in the open, the at-bats only 20, and that's not where you want to be. You'd like to have about double that if you're going to be one of the starters. And Trumbo, of course, the DH for the Orioles when the year starts. Pitch will miss away.
Well, he just had one of those years, again, coming off a monumental best career year. First year with the Orioles, signs a 3-year deal. You know, as conscientious, if you know Mark, that he is, that put pressure on him. Maybe trying a little bit too hard, then your brain gets in the way of what you've been doing over the last, 7-8 years in the big leagues.
1-1 delivery, high heat. That one at 90. And of course, Chris Davis remains out. And interesting listening to Buck before the game today. The thought was that Chris Davis would be back in this weekend, and perhaps not so. Buck Showalter saying, I'm not really sure about that, and was asked about whether or not he might have to go in the DL to start the year, and Buck said probably not. And that's a bit of a change in direction. I mean, there's some concern now that Chris, with that elbow problem, may not be able to get back and get enough at-bats to start the year.
Yeah, he was talking about it yesterday. He got the cortisone shot because he couldn't extend his right arm. Now, that's, if you're a left-handed hitter, that's how you get to the ball. So again, you know, hit yesterday, hit early today, not out here. I didn't see him hitting on the field, and maybe he had a bad reaction.
Foul back again. Chris has had only 13 at-bats. So that's how far behind he is in getting the time in.
So you get Drummond with 20 at-bats, Chris with 13. Those are the 2 guys that you wanted to both physically and mentally ready to go in the season. You know, I don't know of too many guys that I've talked to, veteran players, that say, hey, spring training's too long, especially last year with the World Baseball Classic. I think for these two guys, spring training's too short because of the injuries.
Yep. Runner on at second base, 2 runs in, 1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. Ball will be taken away. Trumbo with a good eye on that one, and we'll work to count to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I think, Gary, what I'm seeing from Chance Adams, he's got a curveball and changeups. Curveball's supposedly better than the 4th pitch, the changeup, but if you're going to be a fastball slider, everything from 91 to 84, you better make real good pitches. So he's gotten a little bit of trouble not doing that.
2-2 delivery, and again Trumbo able to hang off to no. He was called on a check swing. Jeff Kellogg down at first base. It looked like he had held up on that, but he gets called out on a swinging strike here.
Yeah, didn't swing.
Last whip of the bat is the one that put him through it. Adam Jones put him through it. The home run is first of the spring, 2-0 O's. It's an initiative inviting parents to bring young Oriole fans age 9 and younger to Oriole Park free of charge. Every adult who gets a regular priced individual game ticket in the upper deck is invited to bring up to 2 children 9 and under to the ballpark. Compliments of the Orioles. What a great chance for the kids to come to the ballpark and for families to be able to afford it. That's a great idea. And that's the whole season. So there you go. Get the kids to the yard. Back on the mound, Castro. Drury will take the pitch outside. Brandon Drury is going to be the starting third baseman for the Yankees this year. And the Yankees are very happy about that, and what they have seen out of him. Pitch near the knees, and he will not get the strike call.
Well, 2 years with the Diamondbacks and played very well, so they know what they're getting. Chase Headley, traded. Last year he played third and first. They got Frazier came over, no longer. So, again, you're looking for somebody that can play not only third but also play second base.
Yeah.
Well, now with Neil Walker coming into the picture, you may see Drury play pretty much primarily at third.
So the leadoff man on here in the second inning for the Yankees. The walk surrendered by Castro. It'll bring up Billy McKinney. McKinney is getting the start in left field. Gardner will be the probable opening day starter in left field for the Yankees. Pitch will be taken for a strike by McKinney.
Yeah, he's having a nice spring already. 4 home runs. Yeah, he's been part of 2 major trades. I think 2013 24th pick. In other words, the 24th player picked of all the free agents. And then he got traded to the Cubs, and then came over to the Yankees in the Aroldis Chapman deal. And then, of course, they went back and got Chapman as a free agent. But this kid's hit home runs pretty much everywhere he's played. Yeah,
he's minor league 277 career hitter. He's not had any time at the major league level yet, but he's another young player. He's only 23 years old. Between AA, AAA, last year. He hit .277 combined, 16 home runs, 64 RBIs. So again, Billy McKinney, one of those who provides depth for the Yankees in an outfield position. We're talking about Frazier's. He is on the DL at the moment, out with an injury, as the Yankees are also missing Jacoby Ellsbury. Both of them this spring are missing time. Ellsbury, the question of how much he would play and where is one that's confronting the Yankees right now. No decision on that one yet. So those two not getting playing time at the moment. 3 ball, 1 strike count, and the pitch will be low and in. So the first 2 are on, and the strike zone's eluding Miguel Castro.
Well, again, I looked at McKinney, a 1-1 fastball, and a lot of young hitters would swung at it. Takes it 2-1. Now all of a sudden the pressure shifts back to Castro. I think what Roger McDowell, the Oriole pitching coach, and Buck Showalter, the skipper, would like to see is, okay, hey, I got to throw a strike and I can do it. Didn't do it.
Roger McDowell helping to piece together this Oriole pitching staff, both starter and pen. And the breaking ball will be in there for a strike. Romine, Austin Romine, working behind the plate. See the numbers he has put up so far in spring training. He's been a backup catcher for the Yankees. Gary Sanchez, of course, will be in the lineup behind the plate on a regular basis. Ground ball towards the hole. That is going to be a base hit. Dury will make the turn and stay as Santander will get it into the cutoff man, and 2 walks and a single, and the bases are loaded, but nobody out.
Yeah, a veteran catcher that understands pitchers. So all of a sudden, the guy's struggling with his command, back-to-back walks. He's going to look fastball, gets one, ends up pretty much right down the middle. So that speeds the bat up, and he's able to get it by Beckham into left field to load him.
So the Yankees with a early scoring opportunity here in the 2nd inning, and a good one. Torreyes is at shortstop. Didi Gregorius, of course, will be there. Yet another power bat in the lineup on opening day. Torreyes has had a lot of playing time with the Yankees, and a big hole here for Castro. Delivery on another breaking ball that'll catch the inside corner for a strike.
Well, when they traded Headley, and then Starlin Castro, who killed the Orioles, had a great year when he was healthy for the Yankees, went down in the Giancarlo Stanton trade. They knew Torreyes could play everywhere, and he can.
And he did.
Yep.
Breaking ball taken outside. What he had 43 at second starts, 26 at short, 16 at third base, and put up solid numbers. 292. He had 4 home runs, 36 RBIs, 108 games.
Well, little guy, but a high ball hitter.
Torres goes the other way. Great stop made. Mancini will go to the bag. It'll get a run in, but a major defensive play here in the 2nd inning by Trey Mancini. Yankees get on the board 2-1.
Well, he came up as a first baseman, so again, I mean, this is a double, except he takes it away. The anticipation, could the ball be hit to you? Otherwise, if you're not thinking that, probably down the right field line. And not only he'll be at second, maybe all 3 runners score.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden that 2-0 lead, instead of being 2-1, is you're down by a run.
It's a play that can get lost in the shuffle, so keep that in mind as we move along here today. The Yankees get McKinney over to third base. Romine goes to second. Here's Kratz, who's got an RBI opportunity or 2 right here. He will take the pitch for a strike. You see Castro now starting to deal in on that first pitch. He was not getting first strikes against the Yankee hitters. Once the bases got loaded, decided I probably better get ahead.
Yeah. Well, look at that. I mean, now 30 pitches, 50-50 as far as balls and strikes.
Ball high in the air but not deep. Backing up is Machado. Coming on is Santander. Runner tagging. Santander ended up backing up, but the runner stays.
Well, he did pretty much everything wrong. And then he missed the cutoff guy. Well, that's the high sky, as you mentioned, and also the wind's blowing out. So the ball plays him, and then off balance. And of course, with the bases loaded and down by a run, they don't send anybody, but the throw, I mean, just, young player, Rule 5 guy, has to stay with the club for 44 days.
So and the defense has been very good.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, everything's been good. He's got, actually coming into this game, Gary, he had more at bats, and I think this is on purpose, than any, at least in big league games, not the back games, the B games, and simulated games, than anybody on the Oriole roster.
Yeah. Buck was saying this morning, I was talking with him, he said that's not an accident.
Yeah.
They know Santander's got to stay and he's got to play. Pitch is taken for a strike, so now 2 down. Runners remain at second and third. And Shane Robinson at the plate, veteran, gets a chance himself here for a big 2-out hit. See if Castro can work his way out of it with defensive help. That one is going to be in there for a strike. Miguel Castro throwing some strikes here for the Orioles. Castro, this is the 3rd spring training outing. He worked 5 innings, given up 2 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, and over the 2 games started, struck out 4. Those are in the A games. A lot of the Orioles' work has been done in simulated games. Both Buck Showalter and Aaron Boone saying this morning, sure, we're conscious of the fact we're playing teams in the East, and no, we don't want to show off some of our better pitchers against their hitters. And both teams have kind of done that all spring long.
You know, that's a total contrast to what Earl Weaver used to think. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just what the only exception when Mike Cuellar got traded in 1968 from Houston to the Orioles, and he would go on to win 139 games in 7 years. Earl did not pitch him because of the screwball against American League teams. That's the only time. Otherwise, I wanted to see if I could get these guys out with the wind blowing out.
1-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to fall into left field. That's going to be good for 2 RBIs. Santander will pick it up. Shane Robinson gets the big 2-out hit for the Yankees, and the Yankees have a 3-2 lead.
Well, Shane Robinson does exactly what he's done in the big leagues. You know, he played with St. Louis, played with the Angels, Minnesota. 800 times up, 6 home runs, but he gets a hanging slider. Not a very good 2-strike pitch. Again, you're young like Castro. You got to make a better pitch there. Couldn't do it, and they get a couple more runs.
So the Yankees picking up 3 runs on 2 hits, 2 big walks that started the inning out. Both Drury and McKinney have come around to score here in the 2nd inning. And here is Tyler Wade. Wade with 2 down. And this is not a good start to the outing for Castro. Not only the runs and hits, but the walks. And he's thrown a lot of pitches. This is not what Buck Showalter and Roger McDowell wanted to see.
Well, it started with Tyler Wade where he pulled the ball by 2 feet and hit him in the calf. He was fortunate enough to get Judge to bounce into a double play. Actually hit it pretty hard, but that was 3-2. So pitch count. And again, it's spring training, so you know you're somewhat on a governor as far as how many pitches you're going to throw. But just think if we transfer this 1 month into the season.
Yeah, and getting close enough to the start of the season where decisions have to be made. Now, not today, not tomorrow necessarily, but certainly these outings for Castro and others in a similar position battling for a spot in the rotation are vitally important. And you need them to be good, and right now it isn't. Big lead at first base. Fastball is going to miss away. Wade hit by a pitch first time up. It's open.
Yeah, well, and you know, and Tillman comes very questionable because he did not look good yesterday. You know, Wright's pitched well. Harvey's too young. Cortez, Rule 5 guy, he's kind of backed off as far as not commanding his stuff. I think we're going to see him a little later today and maybe a little bit sooner because of the pitch count for Miguel Castro. So again, you know, they've talked about, you know, you still have some guys out there. Alex Cobb, apparently the number, 4 years, $68 million. It's come down a little bit. Then you got John Lackey, who pitched 180 innings last year, veteran. He's going to be 39, I believe.
Yeah, those are the 2 names floated most frequently around the Oriole facility here in Florida right now. And Orioles are looking. Runner does not go here, and that's close. Just missed. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, I mean, let's take Miguel Castro and let's have him pitch in New York with what, about 6 lefties up there, and your righties are Judge with 52 home runs, Stanton with what, 59. These guys on a short porch, ball flies, they're looking for their pitch till they get the 2 strikes. That's when it becomes difficult for a young pitcher, and it's impossible here in Florida to figure out if he's going to be able to do it.
Yep. Yeah, And that's where the decision, unfortunately or fortunately, has to be made. And the trouble right now for the Orioles is, what are the choices?
Yeah. Well, there aren't.
There aren't.
They used 11 starters last year, 9 the year before. You know, the least amount of innings by any starting staff in baseball last year.
2-2 delivery, a breaking ball will miss inside, and Castro continues the long endeavor to get through the second inning as the count goes to 3-2 with 2 away.
Yeah, and you have a guy with Caleb Joseph behind the plate that knows what he's doing. I mean, it's not like you got a young catcher that's not experienced, trying to kind of work his way through the lineup. You know, we need to be aggressive. Well, you can see it right here. I mean, this inning, 13-13, coming in, it was what, 15-15 out of the 30 pitches.
So the runner will be going. Mancini moves behind Robinson at first. Runner goes, and there's the third walk of the inning. Orioles really want him to go much further, and Roger McDowell's going to come out and talk to him.
And Roger knows, and Caleb Joseph knows, that the last thing you want to do as a young pitcher with the wind blowing out is pitch around Tyler Wade to get to Aaron Judge. And that's what happened.
So Castro struggles here in the second inning, and the Yankees picking up the RBIs on a ground ball out by Torres, and then the 2 RBI base hit by Shane Robinson, and now get another shot at it with runners on at first and base, and Judge coming up, the 8th batter to hit here in the second inning. Judge hit into a double play, 6-4-3, his first time up.
Yeah, and really the way Aaron Judge went last year, he had to have shoulder surgery, that front shoulder, the left arm. And that was bothering him. I mean, he had a horrendous August, and they went 14-50. Only had 2 losing months. And then he got much better. Hit, as I mentioned, 15 home runs, over 300 the month of September. They went 20-8. Ended up 91-70. And then got all the way to the championship series against the Astros.
Yep. Swing and a miss, and a ball down and away to him. Fry's warming up in the bullpen. The Orioles bringing over some of the youngsters from the minor league camp to help out. Paul Fry, left-hander, one of those extra players for situations just like this. 1-1 delivery on the way to him, and that will be fouled off, and Caleb Joseph took that one hard.
And I'm sure we're going to have a chance to talk to Buck Showalter, but I mean, these are the kind of at-bats, you did pitch around to get the Judge. Can you get him out? Because it's been a tough inning. I mean, it started with 4 straight pitches to walk Drury. Then McKinney had quality at bats, laid off some close pitches, and then all of a sudden gave up some hits, and now he's got to get Judge out to get to the bench.
1-2 with the runners off first and second base, and Judge will take that one right down the middle. So Castro picks up his first strikeout, and a big one, but the Yankees get 3 in and take the lead. 3-2. Buck Showalter, the skipper, taking the time to join us here. Buck, taking a look at Castro through 2. What do you see?
You know, I'd like to see him get a little quicker to the plate. 1-6 not going to work, but he's got a good arm. You know, finding his way around. He's gotten out of it, kept us engaged in the ball game. It could have gotten away from him a little bit, but he's working his way around. Hopefully he'll finish up with a good inning next inning. Well, you guys comfortable with that wind blowing out? Might be here a while.
Yes.
Well, hey, I wouldn't be comfortable with it blowing in. I'll tell you that, because it'd be freezing up here. But but you're a glass half half full type of guy. He did get Judge out to get to the bench.
Yeah, you got a double play off of him that was firm. Good play by our infielders.
Yeah. Mancini can get the job done there, can't he? If he has to play first base, that's where he's played anyway.
You put Trey about anyway, and he's going to figure out a way to figure it out. And you know, a lot of young players. I'm so excited about our young players. Some we've sent out. DJ Stewart had a great spring. Ryan Mountcastle showed why everybody's so excited about him. Austin's still here. Our 2 catchers have been. It's been a lot of fun to watch them and see where we are as an organization with some of these guys in the spring. And another one right here with Santander, another good example of our scouting department. And he's healthy, weighs the same as last year in a different body. I wish I still had that ability.
Well, you know, we were talking that, and you know, Gary, he had the most at bats coming in, and Gary was talking about that he talked to you. That's not by accident.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other part of it is, you know, we're trying to get to know him. The guy was hurt when we got him. We knew that and rehabbed him, and trying to get to this point right here. He's moving well. He's played the heck out of the outfield. You know, if you can play outfield today, you got a high sky, so you got no depth perception. You got the wind blowing all over the place, and really tough. Believe me, nobody's wearing black up in the stands today. It's hard to see the baseball. So, you know, he's played so well down here defensively. It's been one of the highlights, that and the young players and some of our young pitchers.
Buck, we were talking before the ball game, and I wanted to ask you about points of emphasis. You do that every year with the ball club. There are 2, 3, whatever. That one drilled down the line in right field, and that is going to roll into the corner. Fair ball. Santander to second. Beckham is going to stop at third, and Santander's got himself a stand-up.
Okay. Over in.
He can hit.
Oh, I tell you what, it's, you know, you start out early in the spring, ball's getting a little deep on him, and Scotty and him made a few adjustments, not necessarily getting the head out, but just trying to do the work from the plate out. You know, so many times we talk about guys being more selective and walking, but you got to hit until you take. You can't take until you hit. And you know, a guy like Ryan Mountcastle, we want him to hit until he takes. You know, if he ends up walking 30 times a year in the big leagues, his contact to damage ratio is going to be good. Same way with DJ Stewart. You know, everybody's not the same. You know, we got some guys up here at the big league level that haven't walked a whole lot, but their damage ratio is pretty good. I like where we are with our young players, regardless of what somebody else may think.
Here is Caleb Joseph, 2 in scoring position for Caleb. Pitch up high. Back, Buck, points of emphasis this year you've made with the ball club.
Well, you know, we want to remember who we are and how we've been good, and get back to some things that you know, the intangibles, the little things that we didn't execute as often starting in June last year. And
go ahead.
No, I was trying to figure out. That's a get them over, get them in. So anytime second, third, they think about driving the run. The ideal at bat there is maybe a ground ball to second base, get them over, give them in.
Well, you told him
set up our young new leadoff hitter.
Well, yeah, you told him to do that, and you didn't.
Well,
have you got to talk louder?
So you want to be an announcer or a manager?
Oh no, I heard you. We got the mic. You got your mic.
Yeah.
Get him over.
I forgot
get him
about
in.
that. You can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
There's a novel thought.
But you know, but it is so interesting that when you say that and then you do it, how much it makes it more difficult to pitch.
Oh, it's you know, and I'm talking to Austin Hayes today. I said, Austin, I said at this level, it's going to be easier for you to hit potentially because there are going to be more creatures of habit and be able to locate. I mean, you got a man on third and 1 out. They are not going to throw you a fastball strike first pitch, but they are going to throw you a breaking ball, get me over strike, and sometimes that's a pitch that you can do damage on. We were talking today. I said, you know, I never put you in foul ground in right field, right? And he goes, well, yeah. He had a great answer. I said, why not? He says, well, it'd be a balk, which it is. You got to. And I said, okay, good answer. But I said, we don't have to defend a foul ball, and you don't have to defend a ball. A slider, you know, he goes, boy, somebody said one time this year, boy, that slider down away is tough. Well, yeah, Ty Cobb had trouble with it, but it's a pitch you don't have to defend because it's a ball. And that's a point of emphasis is because our guys have some track record. Let's make sure we're defending the balls that we have to defend. We're not putting guys in foul ground because we don't have to defend those.
What about for the pitchers, Mike?
Well, we want to continue to be our times to the plate, doing all the little things, but I think just trying to be more aggressive. You know, strike one still. Here we go. Here we go.
He's coming. And a play. And he is out. Beckham coming in on a ball that got away. Romine got back to get it. Adams got to the plate, and they get the runner.
You know what's tough there, Jimmy, is you got your depth. You know, if you think about him looking down the third baseline and can't tell for sure how far that ball's away. You know, if you're looking at it from the pitcher's mound, Beck. Now, if you're looking at that ball from second base, you know when you're going to break. So I guarantee if you look back through, there was a little tardy break there because he didn't know the depth in which that's a tough read.
And you're absolutely right, Buck. He did. He hesitated, trying to find the ball. So Mancini now 2-0 count, 2 down, and a runner on at third base.
Gary, getting back to the points of emphasis, you know, just defensively, you know, for instance, redirecting cuts and whatever, there's so many outs in a relay situation. There's so many outs on the field. And, you know, you may say, hey, so-and-so won the game in the ninth inning. No, a relay we ran or back an out on a trail runner because we were in the right position allowed that run not to score and staying away from the big inning. You're going to give up runs in the American League East. It's just part of the deal. It's can you minimize damage? You know, we had a couple pitchers this year started out second, third, nobody out, and came out with a 1-run score. You know, and now they get engaged in the game. The team's still there. We want to be in a little more attack mode, and you know, some private things that we've really stressed. Just reminding them of what we have to do to make up the difference with these clubs that we're competing with. What are we willing to do that they may not be willing to do?
All right, the 2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way.
It's
going to go into left field, base hit. So Mancini delivers the RBI. Santander will score.
That way, Anthony. Hey, baby.
The Orioles get it tied up at 3.
This is fun. I should come on the air.
You should come on the air. Why? Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, but you know, the Orioles did probably third or fourth in the American League with 286 runner and scoring position. You know, you played. I mean, your nickname, Willie McGee, let us in the Slasher when you played with him.
Willie gave that up.
Yeah, he did. When you played at Oneonta. He said he never struck out. His nickname was the Slasher. But is there an art to hitting with runners in scoring position? You
know, Jim, it happens too much for there not to be. And it's not something analytically you can really put your hand on. Some guys just have a different level. They understand the situation a little bit of what pitchers are trying to do. And, you know, they don't have emotional at-bats when that guy gets at third and 1 out. You know, Mattingly used to hit more ground balls to shortstop with the infield back, a man on third and 1 out. They didn't let their ego get involved in it.
That ball is going to be out of here, way back in left field of the bleachers, and goodbye home run. Jonathan Scope, 2 RBI shot.
All right, I got a question for Jim and you.
Go ahead.
All right, give me your batting order, your first 3 guys this year.
Well, we already talked about that.
Shocker. I knew you had.
I'm getting my best 3 guys up there.
Exactly.
You know, we don't run anyway. I'm talking about the Orioles when I say we.
Well, let me tell you, you know, that last year was an all-time low in pitch outs. Each year they've gotten less and less, but I think it's more of an indication that people don't hit and run anymore. And that ball right there. Oh, wait, John, hang in there. You'll get it. Atta baby. John was a little late for a meeting today.
Oh, was he? Oh. Yeah. Well, he wasn't late on his fastball, I'll tell you that.
No, you know, that daylight savings time is tough on some guys.
All right, we're going to get a pitching change here. Buck, we really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
We got to go to commercial.
We got to go to commercial. You know about that.
Good deal.
You worked up here before. Thanks, Skip.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Orioles take the lead 5-3, and the Yankees, Aaron Boone out to make a change. Here's Cody Carroll.
Yeah, Cody Carroll, who's worked his way up. Not a high draft choice. Non-roster, 22nd round, out of Tennessee. Went to the school, University of Southern Mississippi. But he's really never been a starter in the minor leagues, so he gets a chance to come in middle of the game.
That ball is going to be fouled away by Manny Machado. Cody Carroll is 25 years old and never pitched in the majors, only his 4th pro season. 8-10 his minor league record. As Jim said, he's appeared in 79 minor league games, only 6 of those as a starter. Manny Machado, with the Orioles having cleared the bases on the Scope home run to take the lead. That one is going to be bounced way out in front. Machado grounded out his first time up. The Orioles coming into this ball game as a team hitting .271 in the home run department. The Orioles have out-homered opponents this spring 29-15 so far. And what we're seeing here in this first meeting of the spring between the Orioles and the Yankees is kind of a reminder of what we were talking about earlier, is how the games were between these two teams last year, the regular season. Lots of runs, lots of pitches. That should be a base hit. Infield single. Good as a bunt down the line for Manny.
Yeah, the old swinging bunt. You stand on the mound, you go, that was a pretty good pitch, except the result, not for Manny, but for me, not too good. Of course, the way Manny can hit, this is probably actually a bonus. Only 1 base hits, wind blowing out. As we mentioned, he came in hitting .452, so he's 1 for 2 this afternoon.
So Manny now in 33 at-bats has picked up 15 hits and 15 RBIs. What a start. Adam Jones has delivered the long ball for the Orioles, his first of the spring, first inning, 2 RBI shot. So Carroll trying to get out of an inning. Both teams putting on the offensive thrusters for inning number 2. The Yankees had 2 runs, 2 hits, but they got 3 walks in the inning. The Orioles have come away with the 3 runs here in the second inning, doing it on 2 of them on the Scope home run, and the Orioles taking advantage of 3 singles and a double along with the homer. Count goes to 2-0 from Cody Carroll. Most of the pitchers that are going to be used today by both of these teams are following the directions of their managers regarding not pitchers you're likely to see during the regular season against each other. Pitch is in there for a strike. Aaron Boone believes it helps hitters. He said, speaking from a hitter's point of view, he said, I like to see pitchers. I don't care when I see them. I don't care what they're throwing. If I have a chance to see them, it helps me in the course of the year. So that's why he said, I keep like Buck, I keep our pitchers away from Eastern Division opponents as much as I can. Got Larry Rothschild over there with him. Buck's got Roger McDowell. They are the 2 pitching coaches. Rothschild will be an enormous help to the first-year manager. That ball up in the air off the end of the bat. So he didn't get all of it. McKinney will move in and put it away, but the Orioles come away with 3 big runs led by Jonathan Scopes Dinger. This one was good for a couple, and it's a 5-3 lead. Smith Stadium here in Sarasota, Florida. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer, great to have you with us. The Orioles take the 5-3 lead in a 2-inning hit fest so far. Now Miguel Castro comes back out, as Buck said, see if he can settle down here and get himself a quick inning. Bird, Drury, and McKinney will be due up for the Yankees. Bird flied out to center field his first time up. He'll take that one into right on the shift, and that's why you shift, but he missed it. Jonathan Scope appeared to be there. Ball sinking on him, though, and may have hit it with the tip of the glove. But Bird's going to get on with a leadoff single here in the third inning. Visit Oriole Park this Saturday, March 17, 10 to 2. It's season ticket tag day. Locations will be tagged, giving you the chance to sample views and learn about the many exclusive Birdland ticket membership benefits, including access to opening day. You can enter for the Orioles autograph memorabilia as well. Details, free event. Go to Orioles.com/tag day. That's Saturday, 10 to 2. Castro, runner on, down to third. That's foul. Hit hard by Brandon Drury.
Well, like we mentioned, he comes out of the Diamondback organization, so you get to see him play at the big league level twice. 267 hitter in a hitter's park. Not that you play all your games there, but 13 home runs. But I think they like the fact he hit 37 doubles. He's got a little bat speed. In fact, he walked by the cage with Marcus Thames, their hitting instructor, was the assistant. Now he's the main hitting instructor. And Mark Trumbo said that guy can swing the bat.
Mark has seen him.
Yeah, so he's got that reputation. And as we mentioned, he can play second and third. Before they get Neil Walker, he could have played either position.
They're going to ask Walker to play a number of positions, probably, although right now, pretty good chance he'll be the starting second baseman. Ball put up in the air and foul and out of play. 2-strike count remains on Drury as Castro's pitch count continues to climb up to 51 to record 6 outs. And that's a big ouch. Yankees have been able to get their runs on just 3 hits because of the walk surrendered by Castro. Lead at first base for Greg Bird. Mancini will hold. Breaking ball is going to miss outside, 1-2. Orioles are going to be heading on a road trip, literally. They've got games against the Cardinals and the Mets coming up. Those will be on the other coast. Make one of those trips to spring training, if at all. The Orioles are going to be on their way with Kevin Gausman going against the Cardinals. Andrew Kashner scheduled against the Mets, and a strikeout against Drury for Kevin.
Yeah, got out of the last inning by striking out Aaron Judge on a fastball inside corner. This time it's a breaking ball. Again, I mean, it just fools him. It's not low and away. I think it's just the fact he didn't pick it up. And of course, you have to understand, I mean, Miguel Castro, he's one of the classic you need to eat a potato because he's a string bean. He's tall, 6'7", 6'8". A lot of stuff going on there.
Ball down the middle, hit center, high, not deep. Runner halfway. Adam Jones will put that one away, and Billy McKinney is retired on the fly ball out. 2 away here in the third. Leadoff single Bird. He is still over there at first base. Bring Romine up to the plate. Went over to Siesta Key Beach yesterday just to take a walk.
It was a little bit cool, wouldn't you say?
Little?
Yeah, with the wind chill yesterday.
I've lived here 25 years, and I don't remember this time of the year being this cool. It's about 10 degrees below, as I said, day and night. Only getting up to about 65 in the day and down to the mid-40s at night, which is very cool.
When I was over 2 weeks ago and you were continent hopping over,
yes,
it was 82.
Yeah.
When I came through Arcadia, California, which is about 40 miles kind of
inland.
towards inland, it was 39. When I got here, it got all the way up to about 47, and then 55, might have hit 60, but the wind was howling.
It's right out of the north.
Chris Guff, I got one of the jackets, wandered around looking for. You wanted to be in the sun, but you wanted to be out of the wind. That's hard to do.
Very hard. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Runner off first base. I have to smile because I know much younger days when I would come to Florida, no matter what the weather, you're going to sit out in the sun if you're coming from the northeast.
Find a windbreak.
You're going to get out there.
Find a windbreak.
I don't care if it's snowing.
Exactly.
So there were a lot of people at the beach yesterday, but they're getting sandblasted.
Well,
they were all trying to hold on to the umbrellas that were about ready to take them up.
I stayed over there, and I mean, everybody's coming off the beach with their chairs, and you know, they've all lost their tan because they've been sandblasted, as you mentioned. And but you know what I noticed, and the Orioles, when they had the fantasy camp, stay over at the Lido Beach, and they've redone that hotel, and it's right on the beach. Nice place. You go through St. Armand Circle. You always, the great thing about being here in Sarasota, at my age, I feel like I'm a youngster.
At your age. 1-2 delivery on the way. That will go to short. Manny Machado will go to Jonathan Scope and get the out. So runner left on. Here with the always younger Jim Palmer. I'm Gary Thorne, thankfully. Duo Low Cash, special guest Kevin Mack. It's Sunday, March 25, right here at the ballpark at Smith Stadium at 7 o'clock to close out spring training. And the proceeds are going to benefit the Sarasota Academy of the Arts. So reserve your tickets now. You can do so at Orioles.com/lowcash. And Julie McHugh is the Director of Arts and Music at the Sarasota Academy of the Arts, which is going to benefit from that concert. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about the school and what you do with the kids.
We have 230 students at the school. 190 of them are involved in the performing arts program from kindergarten through 8th grade. During the course of the year, we do 18 different productions with them, 6 in October, 6 in December, and 6 in the spring.
You are brave.
We're very brave. In the spring, we do 5 Broadway musicals, and then we do a 6th grade show. So the Broadway musicals are Winnie the Pooh for the kindergartners. You can only imagine how cute they are. And then we do Seussical, we are doing Little Mermaid and Peter Pan, and our big show is Footloose this year.
Oh my gosh. That's I mean, for that age group, that's a lot of shows. And we're getting a lot of hits here in this ball game as the Orioles, again, will start an inning out with the leadoff batter on. Colby Rasmus gets the double.
So now, where are you located?
We are at 4466 Fruitville Road in Sarasota.
Okay, because I go by Fruitville, but I mean, I was over on US one time, and they're right out. I don't know if they have another museum or whatever, and everybody there having hundreds of people, and they're doing it right on what 441 they call it here, and I thought that might be you, but isn't it Sarasota, and because Gary lived here, what, 25 years? It's known. I mean, a lot of culture here.
Yes,
and
very
you're
much.
Obviously a big part of that.
We love it. Yeah. We absolutely love it. The kids just enjoy every minute of it.
Because, you know, they have great restaurants. We were just talking about how I feel young at 72. I feel like I'm a youngster. But, but there is a lot of culture and a lot of interest in that.
Yes,
a lot. Well, a lot of theaters here, and of course the Ringling and the whole thing with what they're bringing in with the art when they were here with the circus was the winter home. I think made a great difference and created all of that. Now the youngsters, let me get this one out. That goes to second base. Wade over to get it. He'll make the play, and Trumbo is retired. Over to third base will go Colby Rasmus. Did the youngsters move on now because they've specialized in the arts and in theater in your school? And now they're moving on to the middle school area.
No, we're through middle school.
Through middle school.
We're through 8th grade.
So they go on after that?
Correct.
Stay in the arts
Some
area?
of them do. Many of them do go into the arts, and even in college and even after college. But a lot of them don't. A lot of them just do it because they know that it's going to help them all through their lives be able to present themselves to others, and there's not a job that they could ever have that they would not need that skill.
What was the impetus to start the school? Where was the impetus to do that from?
Well, it was basically for performing arts. We really believed in what we were doing, and we're a charter school. We're 5 years out now. And we just believe that it's something that is a gift that we can give the children that no one can ever take away from them.
So it was individuals such as yourself who did the work to get this started?
There were 3 of us that actually started the charter. My son, Matt, who's our business manager, and our principal, Cecilia Blankenship, who is retiring this year.
Wow.
And the 3 of us were actually the ones who wrote the charter and felt very strongly about performing arts.
Good for you.
So you have a lot of applicants? I mean,
we do. It's a lottery. So we have we could almost fill a second class, but we don't have the space to do that.
So it's not like when my mom wanted me to play the piano and I wanted to be on the playground where she used to have to drag me in and force me to do recitals.
No, we don't really have to drag it too many.
No, I figured that's probably not the case.
Every now and then there might be one big tall boy that we really need to get.
Yeah. Tell us about now the relationship with the Orioles, that the concert we talked about, proceeds going to benefit it. What's the relationship you've got going with the O's now?
Well, it's a new relationship, and we could not be more excited about it. We are so thankful that they chose us to be the recipients of the benefits from the concert. Because, as you know, performing arts programs are extremely expensive.
Yep.
We put probably 1,200 different costumes on children each year, and each costume might have 6 pieces, so it's just huge. Then there's sets and props and drops and just everything to make a really great program. And so it is expensive, so to be able to have something like this will so much help the children. And they are so excited, I can't even tell you. They cannot wait.
I tell you, the Orioles are excited. They're really happy to be involved in this. The Orioles, big promoters of the arts back in Baltimore, and have done the same thing here since they've come back to Sarasota. Well, we wish you well. Thank you very much for taking time to join us here, and good luck with the program, and our best wishes to the kids on all the productions.
Well, thank you so much. We are so thankful for everything that you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That is Julie McHugh, the Director of Arts and Music, Sarasota Academy of the Arts, and the concert coming up Sunday, March 25 with Low Cash. The benefits, proceeds, are going to go to the Academy to help with their program. So the Orioles involved for the first time in that endeavor, but certainly have been involved with youngsters and other programs here in the city for some time, including one that I have helped work in, and that's with the library for the children, the READ program, big league hit program that goes on with the library. That was its 7th season this year. The Orioles have supported that. They have a program where the kids read so many books in February, they get tickets to the ballpark, get a chance to meet some of the players, have memorabilia, and that's worked out very well for the youngsters. So the Orioles continue a community involvement not only at home, but also here in Sarasota. Back up, picking up the base hit of the RBI as Rasmus came home to score. So the Orioles have added to it. They've got a 6-3 lead. Carroll, who is working out of the bullpen, starting this 3rd inning and running into the same kind of problems Adams had as the starter. Santander has doubled and scored. Infield double play depth on him, and the pitch wild by Carroll up and away.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Buck Showalter last inning when he was on with us was talking about kind of key at bats and having an idea. You get the lead off Trumbo one hands a ball to second base. Aaron Boone, because it's 5-3, has to play his infield in. Routine ground ball gets into left field by Beckham because of the quality at bat, not only by Rasmus but by Trumbo.
Yep. Fouled off in the big cut by Santander. Santander, of course, is a switch hitter, and as I'm sure Oriole fans know, he's got to be with the ball club 44 days, regular season, Rule 5 player, injuries. Kept him out last year from making the number of days required to stay on the roster in order to keep him as a Rule 5 player. So the Orioles really wanted to see what he could do in the outfield this year, and as we've said, he's done an outstanding job. He can play first base as well, but Trey Mancini a better defensive choice over there if Chris Davis is out of the lineup. 1 ball, 2 strike count, 1 away. Caleb Joseph waiting on deck. Short lead at first base for Beckham. he was ready to lean in, and the pitch was ready to lean in as well. He gets back from it, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Now, we talked about out of Southern University of Southern Mississippi, but Carroll does have a good arm. I mean, they said that in the minor leagues he would top out in the upper 90s, and then he's got a little breaking ball, but he's got a tumbling split finger changeup.
Way up into the heavens. Romine will give way, and Bird will put it away, and that will retire Santander for the 2nd out.
Larry, wind blowing. Greg, you can have it. That's what Austin Romine says.
Yep. And another pitching change. Aaron Boone will come out. Pitching order a little bit disrupted because he couldn't get his starter the distance that he wanted him to have. So that will be it for Carroll with 2 down, 1 on. Pitcher to be used by the Yankees, David Hale.
Yeah, David Hale briefly in the big leagues back in 2016 with the Rockies, last year AAA Oklahoma with the Dodgers system, and 9 starts, so he was kind of out of the bullpen. And so a guy, he's 30 years old, so certainly a veteran, but the one thing when you look at the Yankees, they're pretty much set in their bullpen. Starters, Aaron Boone says, well, we have a couple of young guys, but they still have some question marks. Not the fact they're going to be able to put 5 guys out there, but I got Sabathia, at 38, I guess, and then Tanaka had some, had elbow problems, even though he pitched very well in the end of the season. So I think they're set unless somebody gets hurt.
Yep. And that's why they like a couple of these pitchers in the minors. First ball gone after to right. Judge will put that one away. So Caleb Joseph retired. A run in, a couple of hits, and 1 left on base. Navy baseball doubleheader coming up on Sunday, March 25. It'll start at 11 a.m. Tickets are $10, general admission, lower level seating. All proceeds will be split equally by the Naval Academy Athletics Association and the Fisher House Foundation. You can get details at Orioles.com/Navy. That's the doubleheader Sunday starting at 11 o'clock. So the Orioles jump out to the 6-3 lead, out hitting the Yankees 10-3 through the first 3 innings of the ball game, and Castro stays out. Orioles touched up Adams, the Yankee starter, 5 runs on 7 hits. Carroll gave up a run on 3 hits in the inning that he worked. Castro has been able to get to the survival mode by having a decent 3rd inning.
Well, Buck Showalter alluded to that. Is, you know, you get in trouble, you get out of trouble. He talked about Dylan Bundy pitched 5 innings the other day, and you know, maybe he had 1 inning but kept it to 1 run. And you know, you're going to give up runs, especially in modern baseball. Ball's more lively than ever, more home runs hit than ever, but minimize it. And you know, again, this is a kid that walked 3 guys and gave up the runs and then settled down after a leadoff single last inning.
Castro can do here with the bottom part of the order. Torreyes will take the pitch up and in. Torreyes picked up an RBI and a ground ball out in his first at bat. We will see a couple of Yankee veterans today in all likelihood. Darren O'Day for 1. Nestor Cortez, one of the Rule 5 pitchers, also scheduled to make an appearance today, and Jolie Rodriguez if the schedule holds true.
Yeah, Cortez, Rule 5 out of the Yankees organization.
That one down the line in right field. Rasmus was over there and will make the catch.
Yeah, the one thing about Rasmus, I was talking to him, I said, were you planning on playing? He said, well, I didn't know if anybody wanted. But when you get a guy like Colby Rasmus, he's a plus outfielder. So he can throw and he can run a little bit. You know, he can hit home runs. Defensively, he will be a plus for the Orioles.
Another added player that's making the decision-making process pleasantly a little more difficult. Krantz flied out to left field his first time up. He's the designated hitter in the ball game.
Well, you know, it's funny, he had hip surgery and he started the year, actually played very well for the Rays, and then just kind of stepped away from the game. And I said, how's the hip? He goes, it's a hip.
We all have those.
Well, yes, you know, most people, I mean, you might have, you know, maybe had a hip replacement or something like that, but it's a hip. Did you train? He said, well, no, but I do own a farm.
Yes.
I do have a lake house. He said, I hunt, I walk.
1-1 high in the air to left field. Wind really blowing, and this one's way back. And goodbye, home run. Up near the back row of the bleachers. Krantz delivers the homer. Yankees get one back, and it is 6-4.
Yeah, any fly ball with any height. You know, before this inning started, the wind actually still blowing out, but it was blowing to right center. Now it's gusting to left field. So Harry Crack's big guy. I mean, he's not only 37 years old, but he'd also tell you he's 272 days into his 38th year. So he gets it up in the air. Philadelphia, Toronto, Kansas City, Houston, and Pittsburgh.
And he gets his first home run of the spring training. And that one nubbed off the end of the bat by Shane Robinson. So Robinson gets the opportunity after delivering a 2 RBI, 2-out base hit in the second inning for the Yankees. It's piling up here. Yankees have only 4, the Orioles 10. Another one put up in the air to right field. Rasmus hits under that, puts it away. 2 fly ball outs, 2 down. We were talking about Cortez getting a chance in the ball game. Indeed, he's going to. Nestor Cortez, left-hander, will get a chance to go against his former franchise right now. So that is going to be it for the Orioles starter. Castro out of there as he goes 3 2/3 innings, 4 runs on 4 hits. from this one. Got himself in trouble early with those 3 walks.
Yeah, so Nestor Cortez comes in, a junior, and of course you can see last year, and he pitched well. I was reading an article when he came up through the minor leaguers, he's not a particularly hard thrower. Tops out maybe 89. He drops down. They told him, you can forget about that. Maybe you want to do it against lefties, but not to right-handed hitters, which he's been doing. I think they thought more early on because he made better pitches, and he's not afraid to throw strikes, Gary. I mean, that's one of his MOs in the minors. He pitched the contact, just get him out some way.
Check swing, and did he go around? Yes, he did. Bill Wilkie, third base umpire, with a call on that one, 1-2. Cortez, one of the 3 Rule 5 players the Orioles really have to take a lot of time to think about. And there he dropped down and wielded one to the outside part of the plate. So he comes in and throws strikes, gets the outs. Orioles have a 6-4 lead. Page, some stories around the East for the Blue Jays. Josh Donaldson nursing a calf injury. They hope that's not going to be anything serious. He had a problem with that last year. He's expected to be back this weekend. The Rays, of course, have got to replace Longoria. Matt Duffy projected to be their starting third baseman. The Red Sox, Rafael Devers projected to start at third base for them. Did make some starts for them last year, as all the teams start to trim down the rosters and get closer to projected starting lineups. Well, it's Diego Castillo at second base for Wade.
Yeah, well, Duffy, they got him from the Giants, and he had all kinds of ankle problems all last year, so limited. But Longoria, face of the franchise, Gold Glove winner. Giants get a relatively young, pretty good player in Evan Longoria. Yep. He's a gamer.
Be very different. Not seeing him there. That one again towards the end of the bat. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Trey Mancini has 2 singles, 2 for 3, an RBI and a run scored so far.
Yeah, Bill McKinney, because of the wind blowing out anything in the air, he's playing really deep. So right here, a little breaking ball off the end of the bat. If you don't get a perfect read and you're already probably 4 steps deeper than normal, ball falls in. So the Orioles now with 11 hits. Nobody out here in the 4th.
Jonathan Scope, one of those, home run number 3 this spring. Scope now has picked up 7 RBIs, 2 of those on the homer in the second inning. He's 2 for 2 in the ball game, and he has scored 2 runs, batting in the number 2 spot. And he will take the pitch inside from Hale. Adams went an inning and 2/3. The Yankees starter gave up 5 runs, 7 hits. And Cody Carroll came on, 1 run, 3 hits over an inning. David Hale now on for the 3rd Yankee pitcher. 1-0 delivery. That'll be a strike on the inside corner. Jonathan Scope starting at second base for the Orioles. One of the Right, young stars around Major League Baseball.
Well, I bet that average is up over 400. It started at 379. I asked Scott Cool about hitting instructor. I said, so Jonathan's not having a whole lot of problems, is he? He goes short to the ball. And we've seen Gary over the last couple of years as he's, gotten over 2,000 at lifetime at bats. You hang a breaking ball, I mean, the low and away slider can get anybody. But you make a mistake, it's going to get hit hard.
He has truly cemented himself in there at second base. Fouled off. Great attitude. And now we'll have some fun this year as fans, I'm sure, watching he and Manny perform at the Keystone at second base, second and short. They'll certainly be an interesting double play duo. Two very good friends we've seen over the years, have enjoyed playing the game together, and now literally will do so next to each other. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss and a good off-speed pitch.
Yeah, great changeup. You saw the slider, you saw a good sinking fastball, got back into the count, and then he just, I don't know if it's a splitter or not, but the bottom drops out and he swings right over it. And I mean, that's the art of pitching. He gets to see 3 pitches, but the third one, he hadn't seen it, and it fools him.
So here's Manny. Machado the base hit, and he has grounded out. 1 down, on at first base, Trey Mancini. Bird holding the bag on him. Ground ball right into that hole. Into right field. Mancini will make a turn and stay. Judge up with it, gets it into the cutoff man. And 2 for 3 for Manny Machado. A couple of singles in the ball game.
Well, you can't defense it. We always talk about with the man on first or first baseman's holding the runner on. But we usually talk about it when a left-handed batter's there. The same hole is there for the right-handed hitter. And if Manny does that, first time in his career, he's going to be a 300 hitter. Because his strength is really up the middle, right field, and he could hit home runs to all fields. But last year, early on, when he was around 215 for the first, almost 3 months of the year, he got away from that. Pull crazy.
Not seeing that here this spring. Much more willing to go the other way, and it doesn't take a lot of hits, even in the course of 500 or 600 at bats, to get your average up to that 300 mark if you're already at 280 plus. Here's Adam Jones. We were talking about the Orioles and their effort with runners in scoring position last year. Adam, of course, one of the leaders all year long. He ended up hitting .361 with runners in scoring position last season for the Orioles. A lot of that coming with, as we mentioned, with 2 outs. Had a home run in this one. 2 RBI shot, first inning. His first home run of the spring. Orioles runners on at first and second base, only 1 away and a 2-0 count. And Kirby, first base coach, keeping an eye on both base runners. Mancini at second, Machado at first. Came inside to him a little bit too far, and he falls behind 3-0. Adam had a big year against the Yankees last year. He hit .310 against them. 7 RBIs. 3-0 delivery to him, taking. It is in there for a strike, so taking on the 3-0 with only 1 away. Outfield deep and actually shaded a bit towards right field. Center fielder Robinson.
Well, see, the wind now is shifted.
It's right.
Yeah, it's kind of center, right center, and it's completely turned around.
Good pitch. That's where he wanted the one before. Gets that one located on a 3-2 count.
Oh, he mentioned that David Hale pitched in the big leagues for Colorado. I think you'd like to be able to keep the ball on the ground, and that 2-seam fastball is more conducive than the 4-seamer in the air at Colorado. It doesn't work too well.
3-2, and a ground ball towards the middle. Big hop to Reyes Castillo over the Bird. No runs on 2 hits, no errors. Orioles will leave 1 on base. Orioles up by 2. be here on spring vacation in many instances and out of school for the week and get to enjoy somewhere along the way baseball. More importantly, of course, that's right, ice cream. It's a magnificent thing, young men. Don't ever forget your ice cream on a daily basis.
Grape nuts.
Grape nuts.
Yes.
Found another one the other night, though.
Oh, I bet you
Here's
did.
Aaron Judge, who takes it outside.
On the beach walk?
Place called the Orange Octopus, which is on the Key, Siesta Key. It's an ice cream store. They make their own ice cream. They're really good.
The Orange Octopus?
Orange Octopus.
Kind
and
of a catchy.
it is a catchy thing. It's their logo is a sugar cone with a orange octopus ice cream on the top with the octopus with the eyes and the tentacles hanging down over the cone.
That's the sign? Or
That's the sign.
It's at the actual ice cream?
It's not the ice cream. The ice cream's Kentucky bourbon. It's Kentucky bourbon.
No, it's all coming together.
Kentucky bourbon praline.
Oh, well.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Well, now so can I ask you a question?
No.
How when you walked in there,
Yeah.
I know you were very excited. Your
Yes.
heartbeat
It was.
It went up and all that.
I did.
Blood pressure
Yes.
down because you're so happy.
Judge swings and misses.
But how did you get to that particular selection?
My eyes went right to it. I mean, they have I don't know, 40 flavors on it.
That's my point.
It said bourbon. Immediately, my eyes went
there it is.
to the sign that said bourbon.
Nothing's changed.
And I said, can I try that? And they said,
New year,
yes.
still looking for starting pitching,
Exactly.
and nothing's changed with the ice cream.
Hey, great pitch down and away and a strikeout. Cortez gets him.
Okay, so I'm looking through the signs on Nestor Cortez, who comes 36 round choice pick. But all he did was win in the Yankees, and it goes the mysterious success of Nestor Cortez.
Good book.
And he just mysteriously struck out Aaron Judge, because he does do some things up there where, he kind of turns his back a little bit, a little Louis Tiant from the left side. He does change speeds. In Double-A, there's the curveball. That's 74. Apparently, he threw one in Double-A Trenton where it was 47 miles per hour. Now, I find that's like Al Michaels did the radar gun at the electronic show in Vegas, and I was doing something, and I said, "Come on, they got a radar gun. Al, throw." 47 miles per hour. Mister, keep broadcasting. Well, anyway, but 47 miles per hour.
How do you get it to the plate?
Yeah.
It's liable to die before he gets there at 47 miles an hour.
But they say tops out at 89, and we just saw, to Greg Berg, 92 down and away.
Yep. Bird has picked up a single, and he's flied out, gets that one off the end of the bat. Wind will blow it.
Yeah.
Adam Jones started in, has to back up on it for the out. And Cortez with 2 down here in the 5th inning. Cortez is making his 4th appearance, previously 7 innings. He'd given up 5 runs on 11 hits in those 7 innings. Hadn't walked anybody and had struck out 4. He's come on here and retired the first 3 batters that he's faced.
Well, I think in fairness to him, I mean, you finally get to come to a big league camp, and you're trying to impress people. I mean, they said he would drop down and throw sidearm. We saw him get a strikeout on Tyler Wade to end the inning, but he'd do it against right-handers. And they go, no, we don't do that here in the big leagues. And so there is an adjustment.
Yes.
But he works fast. He throws strikes. Now, you got to keep him for 90 days.
That one to right field, and the wind blowing it back and up and over. That ball all over the place, and Drury will get down to second base with a ground rule double. Rasmus not quite sure where that ball was going, and that's part of the outfield play here in spring training.
Yep. Well, it's hit right on the nose. And then again, wind's blowing out, and again, it's fastball up out over the plate. So you think you got to read, and then you can't get to it.
So a 2-out double in the 5th inning, and the Yankees pick up hit number 5, and Billy McKinney will get the RBI chance, and McKinney will take the pitch for a strike in the outside corner.
Because I am sure whether when you're a Rule 5 guy, the Orioles, it used to be 50,000, now it's 100,000. If you don't stay 90 days, Yankees can take him back. I think you have to pay 50. But at the end of the day, he may be one of these guys like Nunez, the Orioles with all Nunez last year, where, hey, my job's to get left-handers out. So again, you got 2 quick outs. You give up the double, wind blown, as it might be, and now your job is to get McKinney out.
Yep. 0-2 count with 2 down. Runner off second base, pitch up.
And then, of course, if you're Billy McKinney and your #1 draft choice, and you were traded from Oakland to the Cubs and then to the Yankees, and you had lefties. That's what's great. He's so great. I mean, it doesn't matter what you did in the minors. Can you get a hit here against the guy that's going to change speeds and drop down?
The 1-2 fouled off. Didn't get good timing on that one. One of the problems for the Orioles and with the Rule 5 players is that you have to keep them. I mean, Cortez is the kind of guy you really want in the organization, but do you want him starting at the major league level this year?
Yeah, I mean, if it would be as simple as you could bring him in and put him on your 40-man roster, but no, he has to be on the 25-man roster for 90 days.
And you got 3 of those guys you're concerned about.
And is he better than the guys not in your organization but on your 25-man roster? And I
Who
don't
has
think
options?
So. Yeah, exactly.
1 ball, 2 strike count, because Oriole fans are well aware of how important the options, the ability to send players down, has been for the Orioles over the years regarding their bullpen. The Orioles have had the regular freight train running between Norfolk and Baltimore in Buck Showalter's years, trying to keep fresh pitchers on the mound. 2 ball, 2 strike count, runner off second, and another one's going to be hacked into the seats and out of play.
It's interesting when you look at the makeup of the Oriole bullpen. I mean, Richard Blyer, he comes out of the Yankees organization, and he pitched well. He got lefties. They only hit .237 against him, and he got both lefties and righties out, and that's what you ideally would like if you want a bullpen guy.
And that one fouled off the mask. Second one that has gotten a piece of Joseph pretty hard.
Because at the end of the day, you're 23 years old and you're going to become a left-handed specialist. You really hamstring a pitching staff. But if you can get through the lineup maybe more once or twice, or at least get through 9 hitters and get righties and lefties out, boy, it makes it a lot easier for your manager.
Count now goes to 2-2. McKinney waiting on it and gets him. Came up and into him at 89 miles an hour. 3 strikeouts for Cortez. A runner left on at second base. Take on the Twins 105 and all fans 14 and under get the retro Oriole Bird Bank presented by Wise Markets. Throughout the day, young fans have special activities, opportunity to take the field with the team. Some will do that, and hope the kids will have themselves a great Sunday. That's Kids Day, Kids Opening Day Sunday, April 1. Jeff Hendricks has come on to play in center field. Shane Robinson out of the lineup. Orioles bat, first ball heading down the line. Rasmus. Bird will take it to the bag. Rasmus, who's had a couple of doubles and a run scored, grounds out, hitting off the bottom half of the 5th inning. Trumbo and Beckham to follow for the Orioles. Six runs, 12 hits for the Orioles, 4 runs and 5 hits picked up for the Yankees. These two teams will be meeting, as we said, only one more time inside, didn't get him though. That'll be in Tampa on March 21, Steinbrenner Field. Only 2 times the Yankees-Orioles meet in spring training. 0-1 count, 1 down. Trumbo has struck out, grounded out, getting his first game at bats since the 6th of March. Coming off the quad problem, certainly in batting practice, he has looked 100%. He's been able to swing, weight distributed well on the legs, and he's pounded the baseball in spring in the BPs he's been in.
Yeah, I think for a veteran guy that's going to be your DH, just figure out a way to get him healthy. How many times do we talk to guys that get hot the first 10 days of spring training? They say, boy, I wish the season would start tomorrow.
Trumbo takes one down the middle. David Hale on in relief, doing a good job for the Yankees.
Yeah, you could see that he's been a major league pitcher because he's got 3 pitches and
walked him.
Yep. Looks like he can throw a ground ball when he has to. That's how he got out of the last inning. It's amazing when you look at their bullpen. I mean, the Oriole bullpen, even though you'd like to have Zach Britton, who had the Achilles tendon problem and had to have the operation. He's come along pretty well, but he won't be back. He's on the 60-day disabled list. So even if he would be able to come back a little bit earlier, and they think that may be the case, he can't probably pitch till the last couple of days of May. But the Yankees have 5 guys that have 12 or more strikeouts per inning in their bullpen. It's a good way to keep guys from hitting home runs, isn't it? Strike them out.
Well, a new record last year, of course, was set by the Yankees in strikeouts, and a lot of that had to do with how they got things done in the bullpen. Franchise record of 1,560 strikeouts for Yankee pitchers. 0-1 delivery on the way. According to, I think this was on Fangraphs, I saw a note. Somebody was just looking at all the spring training games so far to see if there was anything that might carry over of interest into the regular season. And if the numbers are true in spring training so far, nothing's changed. 1-1. Grounded down to third, meaning here in this spring training this year, strikeouts are up, walks are up, home runs are up, which has been the case for each of the last 6 years.
Well, yeah, but I'm wondering when you look at Players Union says, well, maybe there'd be a little collusion because a number of the free agents aren't signed. Moustakas had to go back to Kansas City, hit 30 home runs because the ball, and they did test the ball, cores are a little bit liver, ball's more lively. It did less dense. It went farther. Is that cheapening home runs? And if home runs are cheap, if you can't get Moustakas had a terrific year, free agent. Everybody thought he'd get a 4 or 5 year deal. Went back for a 1-year deal turned down $17.4 million and took 5.5 plus incentives.
Yep.
So maybe you think the game's going to go the other way, or if the ball's lively, they're still going to hit home runs. So it's
going to be more effort than ever to hit home runs, I think, which will lead to more strikeouts. I think hitters, when they're doing that, tend to chase more pitches, over swing. That'll go into left field for a base hit. McKinney up with it. Stopping at second base is Trumbo. So Beckham's a 3 for 3 days, had 3 singles here against the Yankees in this one, and Tim continues very good spring. He came in hitting .231, so he's really up the average. That's 12 hits for him now in 42 at bats. So Beckham will be counted on. Set the stage for some of the middle hitters in the lineup. Depending on where Beckham hits, he may hit down at the bottom part of the order as he's sitting now in the 7th spot. If Buck Showalter indeed goes into the regular season attempting to put his top 3 hitters in the top 3 spots.
Yep. I mean, he had what? I mean, when you talk about Tim Beckham, he comes to the Orioles. I don't know. I saw Robbie Alomar get 39 and 40 hits his first 2 months with the Orioles on his way to Cooperstown. It's a Hall of Famer. But the August that Beckham had last year, almost 500 at 490, but then September just completely the opposite at 180. He had every pitch they threw, and he hit home runs, he hit doubles and triples. If you hung a breaking ball, he'd smoke it to right. He hit home runs to the opposite field. Well, he's going to be the third baseman.
Yep. Santander's got 2 on. And a big swing and a miss and a pitch down and away. He picked up a double in the 2nd inning and scored. He has popped out, and he has now struck out.
Yeah, you got a young hitter, and there's the changeup, and a veteran pitcher. So I get ahead, and then I change speeds. You know, I force him and see if he'll chase a ball out of the zone, and he does.
We'll bring Caleb Josephs to the plate. Caleb has flied out and popped out so far. Caleb 256 last year, 8 home runs, 28 RBIs. He'll be doing a lot of work behind the plate, seemingly. Cisco will be the backup catcher, although there's been a pretty good battle going on this spring as to who's going to work behind Caleb Joseph.
Well, they got Austin Wins, who can hit a little bit and is a very good defensive catcher. Right-handed hitter. Cisco, a lefty.
0-1 is fouled off right off the end, and the count will go to 0-2 and Caleb Joseph.
Yeah, having a great spring, at least average-wise. I could tell when I walked in yesterday morning early and he was walking around the clubhouse. I said, "You still must be over 400." Well, he came in at 441. You know, it used to be he'd have the glove with him. Now it's the bat.
Funny how that changes, isn't it? Here's the 0-2 delivery and a swing and a miss. Hale gets his 3rd strikeout. Orioles no runs on a couple of hits, no errors, and 2 left. Here for this day game against the Yankees at Ed Smith Stadium here in Sarasota, and the Orioles on top on this one, 6-4, out hitting the Yankees 13-5. Colby Rasmus having himself another fine day at the plate, couple of doubles, 3 at bats, and he joins us now. Colby, thanks very much. Nice day.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I got to ask you a question now, and I'm asking you one where I don't know the answer. So I have heard, I mean, I know you love the outdoors, hunting, fishing. I've also heard you got a ranch, though. Do you raise cattle?
I do have cows.
You
yes,
do?
Sir. I wouldn't call it a ranch. It's a small-town farm.
Small-town farm?
I have about 50 head of cattle, 3 bulls.
That's not so bad.
So what, I mean, these cows, do we just keep them as pets, or do we?
No.
What do we do?
Well, mine are more like stud bulls and heifers.
Well, there you go.
I sell them to somebody, and on down the line, they end up on the plate, I reckon.
Wow. Now, did that come from your childhood growing up? Is that something the family had?
We had some a little bit growing up. We moved out to the country, and then we moved back to the city, and it's just something I always wanted to be able to have. So made it happen.
Good for you. Can we tell us a little bit about how you found you were going to be coming to the Orioles and what your feelings were when you found out?
Well, as everybody knows, it was a crazy offseason. A lot of things going on, shaking up in the baseball world. So I was just kind of sitting back waiting, just enjoying the family, enjoying running my dogs and working with them in the woods, and my agent called, said Baltimore, and I said, yes, sir, I'll go. And here I am.
That was easy.
Come to try to get some hits and run some balls down and have fun with these boys.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've always been able to do that. I mean, we were kind of talking about Red Shandish, because he was always a guy that did like you. He said he used to hunt. Because I asked him, when did you find old? He said, well, the year I was 76 when I was hunting, and then my legs felt a little bit different. But you didn't have the normal training that you would do to get ready for the baseball season.
I wouldn't say I didn't get out on the field quite as much, but I definitely stayed in shape.
Yeah.
Got a lot of walking in and did what I had to do to keep myself ready to go.
Were you thinking about?
It's been working for me so far. I've been feeling good at the plate. I was taking swings, and I have a little baseball facility back home where we have travel ball teams, so I was able to go there, get my swings in, throw, and all those kinds of things.
Colby Rasmus joining us. Were you thinking about maybe not playing?
I mean, there's always that possibility, but
wasn't what you wanted to do.
No, sir. I wanted to come back and end on a good note. Last year, stepping away from the game, I had to go and do some things, take care of the wife, and do what I had to do there. I got 3 young babies, and I love my family. And as we all know, this game can pull you away. And one thing you can't buy back is time. And I just wanted to fill that time with some family time and go and see my brothers and their kids and be able to go to little T-ball games and things like that. So, that's what I did.
So, you came up with the Cardinals, but you did spend some time with Toronto and then briefly with Tampa Bay. Coming to the American League East, do you feel comfortable?
Oh yeah, yes sir. I like the American League East the best for sure that I played in. I feel comfortable here. Feel good in these parks. I love going and playing the Yankees and the Red Sox. That's always a blast. Who can't get up for those games? And now they got the juggernauts over there, and we got some big boys too. So it's going to be an interesting year. It's going to be fun. And I know the stands are going to be packed out, and it's always fun to play in front of big crowds.
Colby, that's great. We really appreciate it. Congratulations to you on another real fine day and a good spring, and glad to have you with the Orioles.
Thanks for having me. Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Colby Rasmus joining us out of the ballpark.
Oh, he's a good guy. I mean, quiet, but I mean, hey, everybody I think that ever played this game knows how important your family is, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and he did.
Yep, he did that. Leadoff walk. Runner on at first base, and there's another one. So Cortez walks his first 2. Presley has come on to play in left field now. Santander's out. Dustin Hayes is on in right field. Rasmus out. Tejada playing at third base. Vielma's got short. Sardinas for Scope at second base. And Pedro Alvarez for Mancini at first base. Suzak has come on to do the catching for Caleb Joseph. So both the Orioles and Yankees mid-game changes all the way around.
Yeah, the Orioles actually working on a 5-game winning streak. So we'll see if Cortez, as he matches up lefty versus lefty, can after a couple of walks. So Castro got in trouble on the base on balls, and Cortez here with 2. Yeah, you can't be a finesse guy and walk people.
This will be the first at bat for Hendrick. Came on to play center field. Runners at first and second base. And the pitch will be taken up high. Cortez, a walk, an out, and a walk to start the 6th inning here for the Yankees. Orioles with a 6-4 lead. Both teams picking up the home runs and the runs early in the ball game. Good pitch up and in on that strike zone on the inside part of the plate where he could not get to it. And the count's at 1-2. Cortez came on in the 4th inning. He struck out the only batter faced, gave up a double in the 5th, and then the 2 walks here in the 6th inning. Had to wait on that one. Goes to first base. Alvarez got one. Low throw. Relay to first. Won't be one. So the runner moves over to third base. They get the force out at second, first, and third now with 2 down.
Yeah, Pedro, who did play first, played the outfield early on, and there's your low throw. Nice grab right there. And then a little fake just in case the runner at third, maybe too aggressive. You get your second out.
Vielma, good play. The shortstop coming over to cover to make sure he was able to hang on in order to get that out. Good play on the knockdown, though, at first base by Alvarez. So 2 away. Yankees have runners covering the corners. And the leadoff batter will be Castillo. Castillo coming on the field in the 4th inning in the lineup change.
Yeah, but well, okay, right. They got a right-handed pitcher that's also 97. Matthews.
It's spring training.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Oh, actually, these are the Orioles. There's more number. I mean, you think they're pulling guards. maybe offensive, defensive tackles.
The old starting and left
yeah,
tackle.
the old.
Castillo, the opportunity for the Yankees with 2 outs and looking for the RBI. Cortez trying to work his way through and not surrender a run here. It could be his final inning of work. 0-2 count with 2 down. Jammed him right off the fist.
Well, he's an added, an adder and subtractor. As we mentioned, 36th round draft choice by the Yankees out of Hialeah, Florida. So again, you take a little bit off, add a little bit, stay out of the middle of the plate. And right here with a young hitter, especially trying to make a statement, you don't have to. When you get into these counts, you don't have to throw him a strike. If he can make a quality pitch out of the strike zone.
Castillo's first appearance in an A game, and that one will be bounced and fouled away. Castillo out of Venezuela, still lives there. Non-drafted free agent by the Yankees. He hit 263 single A Charleston last year. Contact player. What the Yankees liked is he struck out only 51 times in 510 plate appearances. And the young skipper gets a look at one of the young organizational players. 0-2 count, delivery on the way, and he will get him. 4th strikeout. Cortez getting the job done. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. The Orioles maintain their 2-run lead. Behind the plate, David Hale is going to stay on and at least start here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. He's done a good job in relief coming on in the 3rd inning, so he has worked 2 1/3. Orioles ahead by 2 out, hitting the Yankees 13-5. You're in a spring training game. Breaking ball bends in inside corner for a strike. Austin Hayes hitting in the leadoff spot now. This will be his first at bat of the ball game. And for Mancini, Trey had a 2 for 3. That ball in the air to left, and he's got himself a base hit.
Yeah, he should have stayed with the breaking ball. It's amazing. A lot of get me over sliders, and that's what he took. And then I'm sure he didn't try to throw this fastball in the middle of the plate, but look, there's your bat speed. I mean, that's why when you look at Baseball America, Austin Hayes is on the cover. Now it is the Eastern, top 10 prospects, but he is on the cover because of his bat speed.
Does he make the roster?
Well, I don't know. I don't think he has to.
No.
Because he has options, but he's got to learn to hit the breaking ball. But I was impressed last year with his ability to play the outfield too. Yeah. Now he was slowed down by a rotator cuff strain, which he did get injected, and we had a little talk about doing your rotator cuff stuff, because a lot of infielders, outfielders don't do that. He said, I'm on a program, with a big smile on his face, because he learned a lesson.
1-0 delivery on the way. Pedro Alvarez is getting his first at bat back with the Orioles. He's hitting .250 here this spring with the home run, 5 RBIs. So Alvarez, some depth. One as a left-handed batter and as a designated hitter, and as you saw, playing at first base. 1-1 pitch, and Hale will miss inside to him. Hayes most likely will go down. The Orioles to make some decisions. The addition of Colby Rasmus to the Orioles roster expands the number of people available for the outfield jobs. 2-1 delivery on the way. Gentry, of course, is very much in that mix, a veteran. Buck Showalter likes a lot. And depending on whether Chris Davis, in fact, is back to play, do you have Trey Mancini in left field or at first base to start the season? 3 ball, 1 strike count. And a good off-speed breaking ball.
Well, we found out David Hale can change speeds with the best of them. I mean, there's your fastball count, power hitter, good fastball hitter. And what's he do? Throw him a changeup. And then it sets up the count because Gabriel goes, well, if you'll do it 3-1, I have no idea what's coming here.
Protect.
Yeah.
3-2 count, runner not going anywhere, and the pitch will miss down low. So lost him after a pretty good comeback. The Orioles get runners on at first and second base. We hope you'll join us next Tuesday. We'll have more action from spring training. The Orioles will take on the Rays. Coverage on MASN will begin at 6 p.m. You can log on to MASNsports.com. Rob Kabanko, Steve Molesky, they've got all the news and notes from spring training, and we'll see you back here next Tuesday. Wondering whether it will be Tampa Bay's day to throw their 5th pitcher, which is their bullpen.
Yeah. There's a little skepticism on that 4-man rotation.
That's a grounded down to third base, and it will go foul. So the runners will head back to first and second base. I thought Jim Henneman, our very good friend, longtime sports writer, in the PressBox.com had an interesting article on that. He was talking about going backward to go forward, going back to a 4-man rotation as used to exist. And when Jim noted in the article, if you take a look at the schedule for Tampa Bay, they have an opportunity to go into the season with a need for no more than 4 pitchers, as they've got days off, unlike the Orioles, who are going to have only 1 day off in that first month. Tampa Bay will have a total of 8 days off in the first 38 games.
Yeah. And the Orioles had a typical schedule last year. I don't know if it was 8, but a lot of off days early.
Yep.
And
fouled off again.
And they were able to mask some of the starting pitching problems. I mean, they started off, O's were 22-10 at one point. Only won 75 games last year. So, you know, again, Kevin Cash, he's a smart guy. I mean, he caught, he's pretty well versed. And of course, because they've made some trades, not only pitchers, but position players, they think that's their best way of, getting the most out of their pitching staff. Yep.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. As Jim pointed out in his article, what you're saying is you're taking the guy you consider to be the least of your starters and getting him out of there and putting the best of your starter in for extra starts. I mean, if you can do that, why not? And that's what the 4-man rotation used to be. The strikeout recorded leaves the runners at first and second base and 1 down. And that will bring up Adam Jones, who remains. And one of the Orioles starters still in the lineup. 4 strikeouts now for David Hale.
Yeah, he's kept this game pretty close, and mainly when he's gotten himself in trouble and then made good pitches to get out of it.
Castro doing his running and workout afterwards after starting. Miguel Castro, 3 2/3 innings, 4 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. As he struggled in the second inning, 2 runs, 2 hits, 3 walks hurt him.
Yeah, 3 walks and a hanging slider to Shane Robinson. And that was his really inning fly ball home run to Kratz. Right down the left field line and kind of aided it.
Jones will take it on the inside corner for a strike. 1-1, 1 down, 2 on.
Yeah, I always kind of wondered how, they went. Of course, the Mets were one of the teams who, when Rube Walker was the pitching coach, they went to a 5-man rotation. Now, I do remember in A-ball, we had 5 starters for Cal Ripken Sr. in Aberdeen. And
see if the wind blows that one back. It will, and it's playable. And over to make the out, and Adam Jones is retired.
And it's kind of interesting. When I played for Cal, we had, let's see, Davey Leonard won 16-4. Eddie Watt 14-1. Tom Fisher was 15-6. Mike Davison was 11-4. And I was 11-3. 2 years later, Eddie Watt's in the big leagues throwing sidearm. He's right over the top. Davey Leonard, of course, would go on to be one of the better relievers. I don't know the rest of the guys never pitched in the big leagues, but 5 starters. And then, of course, when you get to the big leagues, you had 4.
Yep.
Which are easier to find than 5.
Yep.
I mean,
yes, especially in this day and age. And you're only talking about 4 more starts in the course of a year if you go that route. So we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch Tampa Bay and see how that works out. Sardenis getting his first at bat. Runners on at first and second base. He will foul that one back into the screen and hard.
Yeah, that's one of those balls without the new netting. Boy, all the fans here in Sarasota are ducking. I mean, what a wise decision with all the bats that are imploding and shattering and all the foul balls. Great to see baseball actually protecting the fans.
And nobody even notices that already at spring training. You see right through it. You don't even realize it's there.
You got to sign autographs for the netting down.
Yeah. Or you got to go way down the
way
line.
down. Well, I was down there.
Yeah.
Of course, it was great with this profound beard that I'm walking by, and when I was here 2 weeks ago, somebody noticed me, so I signed a bunch of autographs today. They go, "Hi, sir, how are you?" I go, "Good, fine."
Let me write this profound beard.
Okay. Well, no, I know. Yeah,
no.
I mean, I look more profound now. I got to sound it. That's the problem.
That's the key.
That's the problem.
Ah.
It's a key, but also the problem. Did feel young though last night here in Sarasota. Tim McCarver.
No.
Yeah. Hey, how you boys doing tonight? I mean,
3-1 delivery on the way is going to be fouled off.
And then, of course, we probably picked the wrong time to go out in Sarasota. It's not so much on the east side. If you go out at 5:30 in Palm Beach, you won't have a lot of people there. But they don't have early bird specials in Palm Beach. In Sarasota,
oh yes,
they have the early bird specials.
Absolutely.
And they were all. I mean, hey, you've eaten there, Mediterranean, nice restaurant, they do a nice job. Oh yeah, they're there.
Another one hacked off, keeping him down and in on him. And Sardenis continues to foul pitches off on the left side and then holds the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes with the 2 down.
Yeah, and you're kind of an Epicurean. You've eaten all over the world.
Let me check. Most of my family actually came from Ireland.
I did I'm Irish. I'm like 96% Irish.
I know, we're both Irish.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. 3-2 count, 2 down.
Laddie, big day's coming up on Saturday.
I'll drink to that. And that'll put the third on. Bases are loaded with 2 walks and a base hit. Yeah, you did the DNA test.
Yeah.
I did the DNA test. So that's going to be it for Hale. So far, pitching changes have had to be made for the Yankees during an inning. That's going to be the case here.
in what, 2008. Became a starter, 8 wins, 12 losses for not a particularly good Padres team. And then has kind of morphed last year with Pittsburgh out of the bullpen, 50 games, 5-2 record. Veteran lefty. Again, the great thing about, you go on what, Baseball Reference, not only is he, what, 33, but he's 33 in 219 days.
Yahoo.
I feel a lot older now.
A lot older.
You know, baseball
Fit
players.
right in here in Sarasota. Mark Trumbo is going to stay in. He needs that bat. So Mark DHing in the ball game. He has picked up a walk, struck out, and grounded out. Bases are loaded, and the pitch will be taken up high. Leblon has faced the Orioles before. Hayes is on, the lead runner. Alvarez has got second base, and the Orioles have loaded him up here with the Sardinas walk. 1-0 count, 2 down. Down to third and foul, and ducked down there, Mr. Hayes.
Yeah, a little cutter, and you know, looking at his bat because he got it up on the label. You know, what was Buck Showalter talking about? Sometimes the low and away slider, it's a ball, and that's all it is if you don't swing at it. That's why the cutter in. Of course, you know, Buck knows, because he did play through the minor leagues, was a terrific minor league hitter. Sometimes from 60 feet 6 inches, you get fooled or you don't pick the ball up. You can see LeBlanc in and out, you know, cuts it in and tries to hit the outside corner. And again, veteran lefty, no guarantee you're going to get a fastball here. We've kind of established that over the last couple of years.
He's had 176 games at the major league level, 30-35. He's back with the Yankees for a second go around. Trumbo not catching up, 85. Fake look at second.
And there's the changeup, and you know, good arm action. You know, he sells it well. And it's all about you know, even that's not low and away, but again, if you don't pick up the difference in the arm speed, that's what makes the changeup good, but it's tough to track it.
So the count goes 2-2. There are 2 down. Orioles trying to get a run in here on a couple of walks and a single, and looking on Trumbo to finish it off here with a 2-out base hit. Leblon will step off as Trumbo steps back.
Yeah, I think the difference in Mark Trumbo, obviously the home runs, 47-23, but also the ability to drive the ball to right field. And we saw him do that 2 years ago. I still remember last year he walk-off home run on opening day. He thought he was going to get off to a great start, and he did. The year before, he had like 4 hits opening day, first time in an Oriole uniform, and 3 of them were to right field.
Well, gone the distance here. 3-2, 2 down, bases loaded. Trumbo 272 off left-handers last year, about 50 points higher against lefties than righties. 3-2 delivery to him, and he'll pop that one up. Third base side, high sky, keep running. It'll be handled, and that will do it. Trumbo retired, no runs, a hit. The bases are left loaded, 6 complete, 6-4 O's. And for Bobby Thompson, who broke an ankle the day before, it was his first game in a Braves uniform. 20 years old, Mobile, Alabama. He got 3 hits, including a home run, and immediately he was offered a major league contract. And the rest, of course, as they say,
Hammer and Hank.
Hammer and Hank.
Yeah, people forget. You know, you think about what the 755 home runs, but he was such more than that.
That one up in the air off the bat of Aaron Judge. Way up in the air. Hauled in by Hayes. So Judge has had an 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, set into a double play, and now flies out to start the 7th inning.
Yeah, I remember, you know, Dusty Baker, who went on to be a terrific player, but also a great manager. And first 96 wins isn't enough, apparently, to keep your job. But he used to tell me, he said, I learned to play the game because of Hank Aaron. You know, people don't realize it wasn't just the home runs. It was over 3,700 hits, and he could steal bases, and he was a good outfielder. And, yeah, he was
good extra base hit guy, doubles guy.
Yeah. All about the wrist. He's always talk about his wrist.
Bird has picked up a base hit, a couple of fly balls to center field. And that one will catch the outside corner for a strike. Great job by Cortez coming on in relief here and really being extended in this ball game to get a good look as the decision-making process goes on for this Rule 5 draft.
Well, you're trying to make your case, and he's done a pretty nice job of that.
Pitch will be taken inside for a ball. Cortez came on for Castro. Got the final out in the 4th inning with a strikeout. Since then, he has allowed only 1 hit, a double, has walked a couple, has struck out 4. Pitch will be up and away. Bird, 3 ball, 2 strike count, 1 down, straight away in the outfield. Fouls that one off, got jammed a little bit.
Yeah, a little 3-2 curveball. Well, that's how he pitched in the minors. The mysterious success of Nestor Cortez. And you know why? That's all about the radar gun. He doesn't light it up. He'd be the first guy that could win games.
3-2, a towering fly ball to right field. Shift was on, so Hayes got a little help there from second baseman Sardinas, but he made the catch. And a reminder, the 18 Birdland ticket memberships are on sale now at Orioles.com. You can save an average of 15% of single game ticket prices, plus receive exclusive orange carpet benefits, including access to opening day, the most flexible exchange policy, and early admission to the ballpark. Orioles.com for the Birdland ticket packages for the season that will get underway at home against Minnesota. Maybe the best hat in the business. Pitch taken away. Occasionally in the background of these spring training games, you will hear the beer man calling out. That's the beer man you'll hear calling out. He has worn that hat, I think, for every year the Orioles have been here, that he's been working the stands. And you do hear him.
Well, I mean, this facility, and you know, I mean, you know, you wander around this facility as I did early yesterday morning for about 4 hours or whatever. It's unbelievable. What a great place they have. And, of course, everybody was saying, well, you ought to see some of the places in Arizona. But for somebody that trained in Miami Stadium in downtown Miami with a little half field, and that was it. Boy, this is like a Four Seasons.
You got that part right.
It's got everything.
2-0 delivery on the way, and that one's going to be put high in the air. Sardinas backing up second base, and he will put it away. So 1-2-3 inning and a great outing. Cortez would think he would not be back. The way he's pitching, who knows? LeBlanc, the left-hander, stays on for the Yankees. Orioles bat, 7th inning stretch complete. Pitch taken down low. So Crawford has come on to play in left field for the Yankees. Ambergani's come on to play in right, so Judge is out of there. Avellino's at third base. Gibson goes to first base. Changes for the Yankees. That one put up in the air, and that will be out of play.
There's a Ruben Tejada who got to play 124 at bats last year. J.J. Hardy with the wrist fracture, and Tejada, I mean, his big league debut with the Mets was all the way back in 2010 out of Panama.
He's in the race for that utility spot. Did go around. Home plate umpire makes the call on the swing. Tejada, it's his first at bat of the ball game. The spring hitting only $171. He's had at bats. He's had 6 hits and 35 at bats. And another check swing. He was ready to surrender. Started walking away.
Yeah, that little changeup, and this is what LeBlanc does. And nope, got out there, but bat head didn't travel far enough to get a strike.
Well, the count's at 2-2. And Tejada will take that one. That one's going to miss.
Yeah, you try to make the ball club, and the one thing about Buck Showalter, who manages the Orioles, he's got his microscope out. So if you come to camp and maybe you're not as fit as you should be, boy, the spotlight goes on you, especially when you're trying to make the ball club as a utility guy. And Tejada, might be in that category.
Tejada will pick that one up in the air, left center field. Wind is blowing it back. Warning track near the wall, and that one's going to hit right at the base. Tejada will make the turn at second, but stay there. Hendricks, the center fielder, backing it up, and Tejada's got himself a double.
Yeah, LeBlanc, he got away. Mark Trumbo popped the ball up in the zone, and this one similar. But again, he gets into the wind tunnel. The wind gusting all over the place. So when it's in the air, again, probably a warning track fly ball in Baltimore, even though it's a small ballpark here. Gets off the wall for a double.
And the Orioles have 15 hits now and a chance to add to their lead. Velma's going to get his first at bat. He came on to play defensively at short for Manny, and the pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Angel Vielma against the left-hander. LeBlanc's delivery to him, and that'll be taken inside. Then another player looking for the utility spot. These are the players' primary consideration right now.
Sarah Dennis, and of course Danny Valencia. He's known for his bat. Wears out left-handers.
Vielma's got himself a base hit. Runner will stay at third as Tejada gets over there, and a base hit. Well, the Orioles cover the corners here with nobody out. All important bats. These hitters trying to find a utility spot, and of course there'll be a lot of players released who are Rule 5 players or have contracts with outs, and the Orioles and every other team will be taking a long look at who's available in that department.
Yeah, the Ryan Goins, with Kansas City, he was on the Orioles' radar. Ryan Flaherty with the Phillies.
Yeah.
I think his opt-out date or decision is maybe the 27th. And the other end of the day is that these guys, you probably get more at-bats in spring training on a more regular basis than you ever during the season. So you also have to project, can this guy sit on the bench and play once a week or once every 5th day? And
that's
not
pretty hard to answer.
Yep. Well, of that group, Valencia was the guy. I mean, he was, he's a guy that you could put in against lefties, and you know what he's going to do.
Runner goes. There'll be no throw through. Strike called, and it is a stolen base.
Heads up play, not only by the base runner, but also the Orioles. They send him. LeBlanc doesn't pay attention. I mean, a veteran lefty doesn't think he's going to run, but he does. And runner on third, you're not going to throw it away.
So the Orioles will get the Yankee infield drawn in. So a big part of being able to pick up the stolen base forces the Yankees to change their defensive alignment. And the ground ball down to first will be foul. Presley with a chance to pick up a couple of RBIs himself.
Well, perfect situation. You got to figure out, you know, he's played in the big leagues long enough, and you get an idea of what LeBlanc already can do. And right here, you know, you're down a strike, but you know, they don't call you out till you get 3. And
stop made. And hold the runners at second and third. Jorge Saez working behind the plate for the Yankees in place of Romine. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hit here gets 2. Outfield deep. Ball put in the air to center. Hendricks, runner tagging. Hendricks will make the throw to third. They'll hold the runner at second base. Correct defensive throw. Run in on a sac fly to out of score.
Yeah, they always talk about sometimes those emotional plays, especially for young players. You know, knew he did not possibly. And also the wind's blowing out. You're throwing into the wind. So he knows he's got no chance. Nice bat by Presley. Puts the ball in the air. Orioles are looking for runs to get one.
And they increase their lead to 7-4.
You know, the other thing, I mean, Rasmus is having a great spring, but Presley was, you know, he hit over 300 for the Tigers last year. He doesn't hit a lot of home runs, but he's, you know, over 30, 32 years old. He's a veteran bat.
So now runner at second base with 1 out, and Austin Hayes up. Hayes is another one of the Orioles trying to get his at-bats up, as he's had only 20, and they would like to have had another 10 or 15 for Austin Hayes at this point in the spring with the shoulder problem.
Well, he couldn't throw, and you know, it was the right shoulder, the back of the right shoulder, one part of the rotator cuff. And
says it feels 100%, and so now he'll get some playing time in.
Well, what a year he had last year. You know, he played, you know, at A-ball and then Double-A Bowie, and that's why it's a possibility maybe he'll go out for some seasoning. But he ended up hitting 16 home runs at both spots. And then he came to the Orioles, hit 217.
Under that one, but to left. That's the wind. That's the wall. And up. And a great catch made and left by Crawford. He'll throw into third. The runner will advance. But what a catch made up against the wall. Crawford, who just came on to play in the outfield, stayed with it.
Yeah, Crawford looks like he's about 6'4" or 5 and needs every inch of it. Wind blowing out. New ballpark. Probably had never played here. Nice, nice play.
So Rashad Crawford makes his presence felt. And a real nice catch, denying Hayes an extra base hit.
That gives you an idea of how the ball is carrying. I mean, he hit it on the end of the bat. The changeup that was up a little bit, so a little bit of leverage, and it still almost went out of here.
Yeah. Here's Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez hitting in the number 2 spot. Has had 1 at bat and drew a walk. There are 2 down now with the runner at third base. LeBlanc, the left-hander, delivers to him, tries to the inside corner and just missed it. Jonathan Scope has had his 3rd home run of the spring in this ball game for the Orioles. Couple of RBIs picked up by Adam Jones, his 1st home run. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Infield shifted plane to pull, not all the way. It's the good cut on the left-hander's delivery and fouls it back.
Yeah, he got a really good pitch to hit there and fouled it straight back.
Loveline was headed to the dugout. Sayas framed it, but didn't get the call. Got to do it again. Said, that's a strike, and I'm out of here. Whoop-da-doo. Bring me back.
I think it's that bourbon ice cream.
That's what it is. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that one he got in a little bit, but that could be a problem. Wind's going to hold it up. And Crawford will make the catch. Crawford with a fine defensive play to hold the Orioles here in this inning to just a run, 7-4 O's.
Guy trying to make the ball club. Great pitch right there. Drops down. Gets Judge out. Freezes him on a fastball. And then right here got some big outs. You know, a couple of walks, but he got himself in trouble. Certainly extricated himself. And made a major impression on me. The first time I've seen him, I saw him throwing the side, but did a nice job. A lot of different angles.
Great job.
Yeah. So here comes the veteran, and well, you know, just stay healthy. You know, last year shoulder problems, and you know, year before hamstring problems, but you can get righties and lefties out. Very deceptive windup, even though I saw him throw overhand. He was working on his throwing. And, you know, they play catch like 120 feet. I said, I did 91 miles per hour on my iPhone. He said, what?
What?
Which you can't do, but I mean, some iPhones probably can do that. Measure your caloric intake and all that.
All that.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that after that ice cream.
I do not. I never do caloric intake counts.
No,
It's very dangerous.
not ever.
Bad for your health. Crawford at the plate, who made the fine play in the outfield. This is his first at bat. Darren O'Day working to the left-hander here in the 8th inning. Crawford will take it down low. Cedric Mullins is on to play in center field with Adam Jones out of the lineup. Both teams have pretty much rolled over the roster. In fact, they have. 2-0 count. Orioles 7 runs, 16 hits. 4-5-0 for the Yankees. O'Day's delivery. That'll be in there for a strike. So Darren getting his work an inning at a time. It's like it's been done in so many springs. He has worked an inning each of the first 4 ball games. He's given up only 1 run on 2 hits with a walk and 3 strikeouts so far this spring.
He said that's the magic number, about 6 appearances, you know, about 6 innings. And then, of course, the ability, and I don't know, because it's all the side work and the throwing they do or whatever, when the season starts, able to pitch multiple innings. In fact, you have 3 guys. I mean, you know, normally you would have Brad Brack, who, even though the Morning Sun, Buck Cholver said potential closer, did have 18 saves. He can pitch multiple innings. Givens can pitch multiple innings. And so can Darren O'Day. So can Castro if he's not a starter in the bullpen.
2-2 delivery on the way is outside. Well, you got Brock, O'Day, Givens, and the left-hander Blyer, who seem pretty much set.
Yeah, and he can pitch multiple innings.
Yep, to be in the bullpen. And then the question is, who gets to finish out that pen? Cortez certainly is making Strong statement in today's showing to be one of those, because he can also be a starter. Good pitch on the outside corner to get Crawford.
Well, he gets Crawford as a young player. I mean, he gets him, 2-0, throws him a breaking ball, and then he gets him 3-2. And here it comes again. And you just never, ever know. You know, he throws 2 fastballs, throws different speed breaking balls. And if you're a young hitter, you're mesmerized by the time you go back to the dugout.
Here's Sayas, who's doing the catching. 1 down and nobody on in the 8th. O'Day will get it in there for a strike.
I still remember they did a Sporting News interview with Stan the Man Musial with 3,630 hits and Tony Gwynn, who had 8 batting titles. I know Stan the Man must have won, I don't know, 4 or 5 or whatever he won. But and they said, what's the most important thing as hitters? And both of them said the speed of the ball out of your hand. Well, how many guys throw like Darren O'Day? You're not used to seeing that type of release point. It's, you know, it's not on the ground. He's not a man. I mean, maybe not quite as low as Kent the Colby, but it's down there. So if you're a hitter and you're trying to pick up the speed of the ball and the release point, you know, you're at a disadvantage. Just don't see many guys throw there. Now, you're not throwing out of the rocks like, you know, in California or whatever, but again, he's so deceptive.
And you don't get to see very much of him in the course of a year. Very hard to adjust. You don't get a second at bat against him in a ball game. 1-2, that'll be grounded towards short. Bill's throw over is dropped at first base by Pedro Alvarez.
Yeah, the sinker.
Bielma got it there, but couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, it's a very catchable ball, and you know, again, Pedro, you know, he's never had a problem hitting home runs when he gets to play, and that's just in and out of the web. First baseman, that glove, a very big one. Got a big webbing. And again, he just doesn't come up with it.
So the first error of the ball game will put a runner on at first base, 1 down here in the 8th inning. Torreyes has stayed in for the Yankees at short. He'll go to center field, hit it hard. Mullins back, runner halfway. Mullins will put it away. Torreyes retired, 0 for 4 with an RBI in the ball game. That'll bring Krantz to the plate. Krantz has had the home run in the 4th inning. Also drawn a walk. 2 away. Runner remains at first base on the error. A little catch on the inside corner for a strike.
The low strike.
Krantz looking back a little late on the call.
Well, he's a big guy, and like we said, I mean, started all the way back with Pittsburgh in 2000, 2010. You got to be a gamer. I mean, he's going to turn 38 during this season. Been around a long time. About 7 different teams.
That one up and in, no chance. Fisted him on that pitch and gets the foul ball and gets an 0-2 count on him. Darren O'Day with great location.
Yeah, 8 years in the big leagues, and the only time he ever got over 200 at bats is 2013 when he played with the Phillies. A pretty good year. Hit 9 home runs for him. Always been kind of a backup type of guy.
Depth in the organization. And wanted to go after the pitch that he went after last time, but decided not to in a 1-ball 2-strike count. Well, the Orioles here today, 8,782 sellout crowd, and the second highest attendance for the Orioles ever here at Smith Stadium spring training game. 1-2 delivery on the way and went downstairs and gets him on the strikeout. No runs, no hits, an error, and a base runner left on. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Orioles up. At bat. The app will keep you connected every day. Live radio calls, video highlights, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB at Bat now. It's your #1 Orioles app. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer with you. The Orioles have 7-4 lead. LeBlanc out of there, an inning and a third, a run on 2 hits.
So Fire Horizon, last year Trenton and then AAA Scranton. They thought they took him off the 40-man roster, thought he may go in the Rule 5 draft, but he didn't.
The Fire Horizon goes to work. Non-roster invitee, University of Wisconsin. Pitch will be taken away as the Orioles bat here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Trying to put a little more distance between themselves and the Yankees. Suzak getting his first at bat since coming in to do the catching for Caleb Joseph. He'll take a breaking ball. Fire Horizon gets it in, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Yeah, he came over in the Andrew Miller trade when Miller went to the Indians, and he came along with Clint Frazier and a number of other players.
Right-hander, high set, 1-1 delivery. Missed with that one up high. This game got decided early if it stays this way, with the Orioles picking up 2 runs in the first, 3 in the second, and 1 in the third. Now the Yankees got 2 runs in the second inning and another in the fourth. And then the pitchers have primarily taken over and dominated the game. 2-ball, 2-strike count to it.
Yeah, not an easy day to pitch. And the Yankees, they haven't put any runs on the board in the last 4 innings. The Orioles went 3 with a wind gusting the left.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery. Suzak will take it outside. He's had only 7 at bats in A games so far this season. Obviously not a lot of simulated games which he has played on the backfield.
Well, he's a pull hitter. I watched him take batting practice a couple of weeks ago, and he got some power.
That one sky high, shallow center. Hendricks on under it and puts it away. Now we'll get to see Cedric Mullins. This will be his first at bat, coming on to take Adam Jones' place in center field. For Ernesto Cortez, the Orioles reliever who had such a good day, his final line, 3 1/3, no runs on 1 hit. He walked 2 and he struck out 4. In for Castro, who was able to work his way through a start. 4 runs, 4 hits, 3 2/3.
Yeah, the irony is that Cortez does it against the team that the Orioles pick him up from. So if you're going to buy him back for $50,000,
there he is.
It's a pretty good advertisement.
Yeah. Pitch will be taken down low.
Well, for Cedric Mullins, he's just got to stay healthy. Switch hitter, really good speed, power from this side of the plate. Switch hitter, so he can hit from both sides of the plate.
Chopper that actually hit the plate. Tag will be made. Fire Horizon makes it himself.
Yeah, Fire Horizon. I mean, that's a heck of a changeup. The glowing scouting reports. He's kind of one of these young pitchers. A lot of times, when we talked about Baseball America a couple of innings ago, you get your top 10 prospects or whatever for each team, and they said, the typical, the right-handed pitcher. Well, let's see. Touches 90, pitches between 95 and 98. Needs to work on his slider. It's probably his second best pitch. Needs work on his this and that. And it's usually they all have good arms because that's why you've signed them. In most cases, that's at least what you'd like. But they have command problems because they haven't had enough innings, or maybe they overthrow pitches or whatever. And this guy looks like he's probably in that classification. Plus, they got 5 or 6 guys in their bullpen that really know what they're doing for the Yankees.
Ground ball and the play made, and a good job. Fire as it comes on. Sardinas retired. We go to the 9th inning with the Orioles up by 3. may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. There is Siesta Key Beach. And here at the ballpark, here is the Orioles' fourth pitcher of the day.
Well, Jolly Rodriguez comes in, and they like his arm. You know, again, you know, can you throw strikes? Power arm, you know, kind of a deceptive windup with good stuff, good movement. And he will come in to pitch the ninth inning with a 3-run lead.
Darren O'Day worked an inning, had one strikeout. He joins us now. Darren, thanks very much. We were just saying you're pretty much on schedule. That's what you do every year at this point, aren't you, with innings and pitches?
Yeah, we get a pretty good idea of what we need to do to get ready. So, you know, we get through this, still working on some stuff, trying to get better, but looking forward to getting the season going.
Well, you said, you know, I remember a couple of years ago when you first came with the club, well, I need about 6 appearances, 6 innings. Has that changed any?
I try to get 9 to 10. 9 to 10. I'll usually make about 5 or 6 in the big leagues, and then go to the minor leagues, throw back-to-back days, and throw a 2-inning outing just to be ready for those when they come along, and a few bullpens mixed in.
You don't mind those extra innings a lot, do you? Pitching more than one.
You know, when I first came to Baltimore, it was something new.
Yeah.
A lot of guys come here have to adjust to that. That's part of the game plan here, and it's. I think over the course of the year, it plays out to help us with our arm health for sure.
Buck was saying it's time to sit down. That's going to be a base hit to left. And talk with the bullpen about roles. Has he done that with you, members of the bullpen, yet, and set the kind of standards for what you're expected to do?
As far as I know, my role is to go out there and pitch when they tell me to. You know, I've pitched anywhere from the 5th inning to the 9th inning to whatever extra inning they ask me to pitch. Obviously, Zach being hurt isn't ideal, but we get some pretty capable guys behind him. And so, you know, I'm guessing Brad's going to get the first shot, and he deserves it. The guy's really made himself into a high-quality reliever, and we couldn't ask for a better backup plan. If I'm asked to do it, I'm ready to do it, ready and willing. Done it before, and be excited to do it.
Well, you know, it's funny. The headline in the Oriole or the Baltimore Sun this morning was Brock potential closer. And in this ball, of course, we're going to show you. You don't get to see this replay, but Yankees are looking for runners, and they get 2. But I guess Buck's theory was that, yeah, he's got Brad Brach had 18 saves last year, but sometimes there's some real as important outs, and you do it all the time, in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings. So again, could you close, and would it change anything?
Well, Jim, I'd like to have a beer with you and discuss bullpen strategy sometime. I don't know. I think Buck's playing poker there with that.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Brad was so good at it.
Yeah,
I think he's
exactly.
got to be the guy.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know, he's a Buck. He's like I said, he might be playing poker with you.
Yeah, well, no, we was playing poker with the entire people that read the Baltimore Sun because it's Buck. But you know, you made a great point about 2 weeks ago. Of course, you make a lot of great points because you're a smart guy. But
thanks, Jim.
You were talking about, well, Tommy Hunter in particular, you were talking about how important strikeouts are for a reliever. And, you know, whether it's home runs or whatever, you can get out of innings with them or whatever. You've averaged over, 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. Is that something you try to do, or does that just make your pitches and take your chances?
You're going to get me in trouble here.
Oh, okay. I take it back.
Through the minor leagues, you're always taught to pitch to contact, you know, 3 pitches on or out. That's ideally, I think the game has changed. I think that strikeouts have become highly valued. There's no chance to make an error, no chance to advance if you strike a guy out. So there are certain situations where I know I have to strike a guy out. I get put in situations where it's 1st and 2nd, you know, no outs or bases loaded. And
Got him.
Yeah.
All right. I know I have to get a strikeout and maybe a double play or something. So I think it's a valuable skill to have as a reliever. You have to be able to strike a guy out when you really need one, or else you know, you're rolling the dice with putting the ball in play.
Let me ask you, is it easier from a pitcher's perspective in this day and age of the home run and the strikeouts up to get a strikeout than it was in the past?
It is. The game, you know, it's all or nothing. You know, 5-6 years ago, nobody was hitting home runs.
Yeah.
So teams started selecting minor leaguers that hit home runs, and they didn't really care as much about the batted balls or the strikeouts. Strikeouts have become kind of just commonplace, and so you're seeing the results of that now 5 years later, where it's you know, only a few outcomes that usually happen.
We really appreciate it. Congratulations, another fine day, and we look forward to another season with you coming out of the pen. Thanks,
guys.
Darren O'Day worked an inning here in this one and had a strikeout. The Yankees have runners on at first and second base. And Bergie at the plate. This is going to be the first appearance he has had. Gittins, rather, at the plate, I'm sorry. This is the first at-bat. Of course, Gittins has had additional player not on the 40-man roster who was added for this trip today. Yankees working with 2 outs to work with here in the top of the 9th inning, and Rodriguez gets ahead on the count 1-2.
Yeah, and you could see 94 at the knees, inside corner.
Orioles today have gone 4 for 16 with runners in scoring position. That's how many chances the Orioles have had here today. Yankees 2 for 9. That'll be fouled back and out of play.
Well, they had their opportunities, and, you know, of course, I mean, Scope with a home run, Jones with a home run. Hale came in, gave up runners, but made great pitches to get out of trouble, and that's why those runner in scoring position numbers not as high as it you might expect. Still Orioles, 250, 1 out of 4, yeah. I mean,
Orioles have left 10 on base in the ball game. They've left somebody on base in every inning except the 8th. 1-2 pitch on the way, and a check swing. Did he go? Yep, he did.
Now, once you get ahead, the key is to make a quality pitch. It doesn't have to be over the plate. Get a young hitter. And again, you know, he's already seen 94 in, and you can see the bat head travels far enough for Jeff Keller down at first base to call him out. Looking for another out of the win. Make it 6 in a row.
Abiato Avellino will get his first at bat. Two down, 9th inning, 2 on. Willie Rodriguez trying to finish it off. That one will miss down low for a ball.
Three different levels for Avellino. High average, not a lot of power. Of course, today, the way the wind's blowing,
you could be powerful.
Exactly.
Runners off first and second. Rodriguez delivers, then a chopper will go to short. That'll be played. The Alma Sardinas, and that's the ball game. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 are left on base. And the Orioles come away with a 7-4 win as they out-hit the Yankees 16-7 in this ball game. Real highlight was Castro coming out of the bullpen for the Cortez, rather, out of the pen.